You guys are not having issues with entering and watching it from YouTube, right?
Yeah, it's no problem.
So I can do like, but somebody, like everybody was complaining about the Zoom recordings.
No, it's okay. It's
Zoom
live.
recordings, you were able to open, buddies?
What do you mean like that?
When I was putting the Zoom recordings out, I have got a lot of complaints from students that they are not being able to open it.
No, honestly, I don't know because I didn't like check it, but I checked it from the YouTube.
Okay, so okay, I will be trying to put everything on YouTube from now on, so it's easier for you guys.
Of course.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because I cannot go and check everybody's settings on the computers, everybody internet connection, or if they are present at all. And I get so many excuses. This didn't work, that doesn't work, you know. So we have the most important part we have here, the organizing, the body of speech, how to, like we have made already a group project. You have made the assignments for the midterm. And now we're gonna go deeper in like discovering and discussing how you do it properly. So what I want you to get out of this class, that you have the mechanism and algorithm. Like for example, in the future, let's say somebody tells you, you have to make a speech on this subject. So you have some kind of a mechanism by which you will go and say, okay, in speech class, we have this and this and this and this and this. And it's like, let's say it's like whatever molecular biology you have to present on. So you, even if it's a molecular biology or rocket science or importance of the media in the society or political issue, you go and you look at this algorithm and you work by it and it works out. So I am for something applicable like this. So what I'm planning to do for coming 2-3 weeks, I will be recording you the classes, meaning I will be giving you the videos on the YouTube for this important, how to say, organizing the body of speech, beginning, ending of speech, when you have introduction and closure, how to make the transition smooth, like giving these technicalities. And in the class time, you will be already, you will have to come after watching the video I put with the questions. Would this be better for you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
To make the most of the time. And for somebody who didn't get it from the video, and for somebody who didn't get it from the, okay, Nasim is with us. Somebody who didn't get it from the video or from the class, and like when we were discussing it, I will have an office hours. And we will be having more guest lectures. By the way, whoever asks the good questions, they will be getting more points for this. Okay, we have Nasim joining us already. Nasim, where are you?
I'm here. Go ahead and finish what you were working on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So we've been discussing here what they have done in their midterm and how we're gonna, how is it in States? You guys still have everything online, right? We just got the notification from the administration of our university, so that this year nobody should expect anything, any activities offline yet.
Yeah, for the most part, I think it's going to be closed for most states. Lots of homeschooling and online education. So that's just how it is.
I was reading yesterday that already not the second wave, somewhere is the third and fourth wave already.
It's pretty bad. Yeah,
and
it's really, really bad.
This is mutating, it's changing the virus.
The virus is mutating, but it's not, it's weird, but I think the second strain is not necessarily killing as many people as the one from the summer. So there's both good and bad news. The bad news is it's doing it really fast. The good news is it's supposedly killing less people.
Well, I got very horrible news for Uzbekistan. like my cousin, he's an infectionist and epidemiologist and virusologist. Like he's the best possible doctor for the 2020, and he left his job at a very good place and he's working somewhere else. And he was telling me that he is job hunting, and I was telling him, if you have such a nice position, why you job hunting? He's saying he doesn't get paid enough. And then when I tell him, why don't you, like, using the occasion, go abroad and study, or like get more expertise in the COVID stuff? And you know what he told me? He's expecting by December the international hospitals to start recruiting the doctors from our region. Can you imagine?
It's
And he
probably
says,
going to happen. It's already happened before, and it's probably going to continue happening. So I'm not surprised.
well, we don't have the strict quarantine now, and he says at least there will be 20% of the doctors who will be leaving the country. Can you imagine in what kind of situation we will be here?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, the only hope right now is for a vaccine. There's really no other way around it, unfortunately.
So it means, like, even if I get in the horrible situation, if I get that to the hospital, I will not have somebody who like qualified enough to help me.
Yeah, I mean, when I was flying from, where was I flying from? I think I was flying from Turkey to Tashkent. There was a lady on the plane with me, and she was flying from Syria. No, I'm sorry. She wasn't flying from Syria. She was flying from Yemen.
Yeah, doctor.
And yeah, a doctor. And when she told me there were 3,000 to 4,000 doctors from Uzbekistan working in Yemen, it really shocked me.
Well, it's been for like from 90s. We have our doctors in the Western Africa, even, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. I was like, really? You work there because why? She said, well, because they pay, and they pay consistently. They will never miss a payment. Every single month I get a certain amount transferred to my account, and they pay, so they live in the premises there. And she traded jobs right before leaving Yemen, and the only reason why she was leaving Yemen was because of the civil war.
Yeah,
Because things were
otherwise
getting
they
really
would
bad.
stay.
She would have stayed. She would have stayed. Yeah, it's kind of bad. So how come everyone is quiet and you're the only person talking? I thought this was supposed to be a student discussion.
Okay, guys, start popping up your cameras, please. And Nassim, you can turn on your camera as well.
Yeah, I forgot that I even had one. There we
Usually
go.
I have a class like this. I feel sometimes myself like I'm a schizophrenia or whatever, that I'm talking to myself.
Just talking to yourself?
Because I don't see most of them.
You can tell it's late because this dude is so passed out.
Oh, these guys sleep anytime, especially
No,
daytime.
these guys are really, really active. Oh, he's up.
Okay. No, my cat, like, because I'm overworking most of the times lately with all these checkings and the projects, my cat is mad at me at night, and he comes and just like spanks me, telling like, go to bed,
Oh, wow. He's a smart one.
Yeah. So Nassim, some of the guys were here. Others, I think, watched the YouTube video. And besides that, we have the classroom material. Why I'm having the guest lectures, I want people to see and observe how to talk, how to work with the feedback. And as we were discussing with you just now, the job market is becoming very international.
Right.
And the best thing for anybody now is to learn to adapt and to adjust.
I know, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Just wondering about one thing. We got one person, Islam. Why is he wearing a mask? Are you not sitting from home? Oh, there are other people in the room. Okay.
I have some students who are working, who are from the working places. Sometimes I have the kids come and like getting connected from Chaikov or other cafeterias,
Oh, I see. I had no idea. I wonder about that. I was like, okay, all right, that's good to know. All right, so when do you want to get started?
Okay, let's start. Guys, please turn on your cameras.
We're going to kill the internet.
No, I don't think everybody will be turning it on. At least if we have some of the faces, that is already okay.
All right. How about I want to hear from people who had a chance to see the video later and did not participate last time because we didn't have a chance to discuss anything with them. So if you guys want to, I don't think we have too much time for introductions, but maybe feedback, questions, anything like that. That's what I'm here for today. So whoever wants to speak up, just unmute yourself. And if it gets chaotic, then we'll just find a way to streamline it. Anybody?
What was the question, Mr. Nassim?
The question was, if you did not participate during the last discussion, do you have any questions regarding any of what I said? Anybody? Oh, wow, that's funky.
Could you give some introduction for the questions? Maybe.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Could
Marjaraz,
you
it's a very nice wallpaper. It's like if
Yeah.
there's
Yeah, you're like a see-through guy.
if there like we can make a new movie, Phantom of the Webster. You know, there is a Phantom of
Yeah, we can see through you. Is your background that bad that you want to hide it with some wallpaper?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Professor Nassim, if you give us some introduction of your speech, and we will continue with questions.
Okay.
Marjalal, we have had the YouTube link which I have posted on the canvas in the announcement, and there was a whole 2-hour conversation. If you watched at least the half of it, you would have known. But last time we have discussed the lecture, like the Nasib Mansour, who is with us today. He was giving us the presentation on how to achieve anything in life. It was of the format like he's giving the advice to young himself, right? Something like that. On
Yeah, I
how
think
to
I think it would be much more helpful if you had a chance to watch it, even maybe later on, just because I don't want
yeah.
to repeat myself for 2 hours. It was a pretty long conversation or a pretty long presentation. So, for those who had a chance to see it, maybe if you have any questions, guys, don't hesitate. Yeah, and somebody has quite noisy environment. So if you could mute yourself, I think it's coming from Mirjalal's
No,
microphone because it's quite
no, there
noisy.
is no, there is no
Yeah, can you
echo.
mute yourself for just a second to see if that's you? There we go. Yeah, that was definitely. I think it's your computer fan that's generating all that noise. Anyway, guys, if anybody had a chance to see the video later, or whoever was a participant from last time, anybody has any questions about anything that we discussed, maybe there were certain things that you weren't so sure about or wondered about, or if you have any generic questions, I don't know. I'm here to fill in the gaps because last time, as we were continuing, we had a technical issue where everything got disconnected and the recording ended. So there wasn't a chance to connect properly. Anybody? Looks like we have a bunch of people. We got 38 people.
May I give question
Okay.
about online and offline classes?
Okay. Online and offline classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, do you think that for the learners, which can be more useful, online classes or traditional classes, in your personal opinion?
Okay. In my personal opinion, learning is not, okay. So last time somebody asked a question about universities, and maybe that's something that we could talk about this time a little bit, which is how useful is, education period in terms of what you're going to get out of it. And my response to that was that Education really depends. Marjola, can you mute your microphone while I answer? Thank you. So I think education really depends on what you want out of it, because I'm sure even in your group, when you guys all attended the university, or if you had a chance to meet online, there's always going to be one or two people who are going to be exceptionally smart. You know, they're very active. There's going to be a bunch of people who sit in the front and want to absorb everything. And then there's going to be a bunch of people sitting in the back, literally just showing up because they need to show up. And they don't want to study, they don't want to do anything. And the point I'm trying to get across is it doesn't matter what format you're trying to absorb information in. It can be online, it can be offline. You could be reading books, you could be reading something on the internet, or you could be watching a YouTube video. At the end of the day, what you want to absorb is far more important in how you want to learn it. So that's the most important thing. Because, you know, I could be saying these things in the class, or I could be saying these things online. The format doesn't matter. As long as the delivery is there, the information is there, and you want to absorb it, that's all that matters. That's my opinion.
You are following continuing online classes, yeah?
I'm sorry?
You are following continuing online classes.
Are you asking if I'm continuing online classes?
How do you think? How you use it for online or offline?
I personally prefer offline. I personally prefer being with the audience and talking to people, because right now what's happening is I am looking at a bunch of people and they're all staring on the screen because they've been told to turn on their screens. And I'm asking for questions and I'm not getting them, right? So what's happening is, you know, somebody's being maybe feeling shy or whatever the cause is, I don't know. But in a real world, I'll be engaging directly with each person. Like if I saw somebody just sitting on their phone or looking at me and not paying attention, or maybe paying attention but too shy to answer or ask a question, I would just come up to that person and ask, you know, whatever question I want to ask. Right now, for me to be able to do that, I'd have to go through the list, right? Find the person that I want to talk to and individually pick. And it's just not the desired format. I much prefer having a live audience in front of me, because that's what I normally do. This online thing for me is, I mean, it has a lot of issues. And that's why for many educators, it feels like you're talking to yourself. And that's what I don't like. In an online class, if on an offline class, if everybody was sitting in front of me, I would just come up to you and ask you a question. Or once you answer the question that I asked, then I move on to another person. We could go in a circle. I could randomly pick a person. Here, no, you know, right now in front of my screen, I literally have 6 people. Aside from Gulsara, I see you, I see Bunyod Beg Bakhtiorov, Shahzoda Sharapova, Islam Yuldoshev. That's it. Like, I know there are 40 people in this webcast and I cannot see them all. So I don't even know how to address that. And
Yeah.
maybe it's technical limitations. I don't know.
Yet maybe half of students sleeping, or 10 people doing some home chores in that case, for example.
Yeah, and you know, if you have your screen turned off, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're sitting, you know, and doing nothing. Maybe you're sleeping. Maybe you're in another room talking to other people. Like, for me, there's no way to tell. That's why I don't like this format. All right, guys, let's not be boring. Shoot
Thank you.
questions. You're all sitting in front of your computers now. Mirzola, go ahead and mute your screen, mute your mic. Other people, let's hear it. Don't be shy, guys. Seriously, if you want to, I know that the format is supposed to be in English, but if you feel more comfortable in any other language, I'm fine. I'm totally fine with that. And if Gulsara,
What's happening in United States, Nasim, with elections?
oh God, you're gonna go into politics with me now?
No, no, no. More, the main question for me is more interesting, not who's gonna be the president, but is the Trump gonna change his hairstyle ever or no?
Oh God, he's so unpredictable. I have no idea. To be honest, United States politics have never been about one person. And for whatever stupid reason, lots of Americans believe that one person can come in and make a change. The good thing about the United States is there's checks and balances. So there's always people like Trump who want to think that they lead the world and do their own thing. But in reality, the checks and balances do not allow them to do crazy things.
Mhm.
So in my opinion, it doesn't matter who the next president is going to be, whether it's going to be Trump or Biden, because at the end of the day, it's going to be more of a check and balances situation where there's going to be some way to counter the president. And if Biden comes into play right now, they have a very conservative uh, uh, judge, and she just got elected, and she's going to stay here for a long time. And so that Democrats are going to have to work with a conservative judge, and there's going to be a ton of other things. And then the House and the Senate depends on who's going to take over. So if it's going to be a majority-led Democrat, then there's going to be probably lots of things that will pass, and then it will switch. It's crazy. It's always been a crazy thing. But at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters. I'm not going to vote because I don't like both candidates. I don't like Biden. He's too old to lead the country. And, last debate was horrible. He was just not performing well. And Trump is an idiot. So he doesn't deserve my vote either. Both of them I don't like. So why should I vote? I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
Exactly. Uh, Professor Nassim, are you from Uzbekistan, yeah?
Where do you think I'm
Okay,
from?
Marjalal, for this kind of questions, you have to watch the video on the YouTube.
All right. Yeah, let's agree on that because you might be asking redundant questions. All right.
Yeah, we don't want to waste our time that somebody just didn't make an effort and time to spend some time getting ready for for this meeting.
Can I ask a question? I just losing my internet connection, so I can do that. Um, can I?
Go ahead, please.
Marina, yeah, can you speak louder? We cannot hear you very well.
I'm sorry. What about now?
It's much better now. Yes.
Well, I wanted to ask you about which kind of books you can advise to read. I mean, not in order to succeed, but such kind of stuff. I mean, which is also related with our major. What I mean by
Okay.
major, the business administration, and
Okay.
which will help to us to manage our time maybe properly or set our goals. I'm not taking that in order to set our goals we should read something, but something
Right.
like that. Yeah.
I personally think from the list of the books that I gave you in the last presentation, that one of the key books which will help you a lot in whether you're doing your major or anything else, it's called Atomic Habits. And that book in particular will teach you a lot of things, including time management. I think if you want to improve in that regard, that's a must read book for anybody, whether you're majoring in business administration, fine, whatever you want to major in, it doesn't matter. If you're looking for ways to optimize your time, that is definitely a book worth looking into. And the books that I gave you, they're not necessarily to succeed because, like I said before, success is not something that's defined by very specific achievements that are evaluated for you. Success is defined by what you believe is success for yourself. So you define that goal, right? And you work towards that goal. So everything that I taught you and talked about last time, I think if you're going to read some of the books that I gave you, specifically if you want to start with something very concise, start with Atomic Habits. That will give you a lot of information that will get you jump started. Okay. And then just start making it off that list. Now, in terms of other business books, I mean, it really depends on what you want, right? So if you are after very specific things related to your classes, then maybe read some supplementary books. I mean, if you want to ace the class and be really good at it, just be more knowledgeable than everybody else. That's if you guys were to go to an Ivy League school, Harvard, any Brown University, any of those, right? What you will find is you will find students in those classes that are going to be incredibly smart. Now, being smart is one thing, but these guys, what they do is before they come to class, they will finish reading the entire class, right? They'll read whatever class textbook is given. They'll read that. as a preparation for the class. So when they come to the class, there's really nothing for the teacher to teach. They are already well versed in the textbook. And the only thing they do during that time is discuss whatever bonus material they can discuss. Because at the end of the day, okay, so I can sit in front of you and I could give you a half an hour lecture or a 2 hour lecture like I did the other day, right? What are you going to get out of it? You're looking for what? If I have a textbook and I'm a teacher, maybe I have a textbook for teacher edition or whatever. Okay, I might give you a few extra things that you're not going to find in your student textbook. But for the most part, I'm going to be repeating the same material that you could learn on your own. And for the teacher, it's a redundant thing to do. All you're doing might as well just come and read the darn book to you guys, right? It's a waste of time. So if you really want to help your teacher, in my opinion, the best thing you can do is before each class, it will only take you a couple hours. It's not a big deal. Don't wait for the class. Read the entire chapter that you're going to study in the next class before the class. This way you show up to the class. First of all, you already know what the teacher is going to talk about, and you can take advantage of that situation and ask more serious questions that are more relevant, that you will not find in the textbook. Because remember, your teacher is someone with experience, right? You guys are all young kids, and you all want something very good so that you can take this knowledge and apply it in the future. Well, if your teacher is so well versed and she's obviously she studied in the United States, she's very smart, she knows a lot more than your class, you could use that time much more efficiently. So in my opinion, if you want to take advantage of it, just do what the Ivy League school kids do, which is get yourself very well prepared before each class and take that 1 hour of time that your teacher is giving you and discuss whatever questions you want to discuss related to that class. This way you're not wasting time. Because lecturing is not something that is actually pleasant. I've lectured in Tashkent, at Tashkent State University for about a year. And I would teach to an audience of 100 students in a class. And I can tell you, I absolutely did not like the format where you come in and everybody's expecting you to just give this lecture on that one topic. In fact, we would deviate in my class all the time. I would not go by the book material because I was like, you know what? If they need to read the book, yeah, they can read the book on their own. What's the purpose of doing any of that stuff? So for me, it was much more useful to give them something different. And I wanted them to come to class expecting that and learning more. Sorry, I wanted to
Nasim,
say
can I
something.
add on this?
Yeah.
I think this is this is a state of mind, you know.
Right.
It's like when you come to the class where you want to be entertained or you have a sense of ownership that you spent your money, this is your time, and you have to come and get most out of it, you know.
Exactly. You know,
This is like
it's a
sense of ownership is like something which will make you a great entrepreneur or the great business person. Like if you like now the guys here have time
right.
and like the time they are spending, right?
Exactly.
In
Yeah.
future they will have money, they will have resources, they will have employees they have to manage, but now they have to show it with the time they spent.
You know, and guys, I know it might not sound right when I say this, but the way I look at my time is money. If I spent my money or my parents' money, in your case, it might be your parents paying for your education, right? If somebody's paying for your education, you gotta get the best out of it simply because it's already paid for or you're working hard for it. And whatever the case may be, right? Why not take full advantage of it? And the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna take advantage of every minute and second of it. How am I gonna do that if all I'm gonna hear is somebody just talk? Right. So I remember we had a bunch of other teachers as well coming teaching at the same university. The worst thing that I've ever seen by far is when a lecturer came into the room and they were literally reading off the book. And the reason why they did that was because nobody gave a damn. They were just sitting there and they were like, there were 2 or 3 students in the front line, had some interest, 99% of the students in the class, and they were the same group of people that I was teaching. And it got so bad that a friend of mine, and we would constantly go between each other's classes so that we could learn from each other. And at one point of time, I had another friend of mine sitting together and we're just listening. And it was so loud in the back that you couldn't even hear anything. The guy was standing there trying to say something. And then, he started reading from the textbook. Then he would go back to the board and draw something. He was literally teaching like 2 students, and 98 students were just in the back talking on their phones and between each other. It got so bad that, we basically got up and said, this is unacceptable. What are you here for? Are you here to get an education? Are you here to just listen to somebody talk? Another one that was really bad for me personally was I would come to classes, and in many cases, young students, they would just ask questions that had nothing to do with the class. How did you like America? What kind of problems did you have in America? Did you travel in America? I'm like, really? You're going to ask me questions about, I mean, you can watch that on a movie. You don't need me. Like, you can read that on the news. Why do you care? Like, who cares? Right at the end of the day, because they had no interest. And if you are one of those kids, then I feel sorry for you because you're privileged and you're wasting your teacher's time. You're wasting your own time. And what I would do, and when I would teach, and there were, that big auditorium of 100 students, um, I did something in the beginning of the class, which I found to be very useful. I said, if you're here just because you need to show up, okay, just because you need to show up, your parents want you to show up for the class, you would rather be somewhere else, but you're coming to the class because of whatever stupid reason you have. You just want to get a passing grade. I will give you a passing grade. Just get out now. I would do that in the beginning of the semester. I would say, just put your name and you want your passing grade. All you want is a D or D minus, whatever the stupid passing grade is. Put your name. I will give you the passing grade. Get the hell out of my class. Why? Because you are giving me nothing. I am only suffering and you are suffering because you don't need any of this stuff. So, just keep this kind of stuff in mind, right? If you're here to learn, if you're not taking advantage of every minute of it, if you're not taking advantage of whoever is giving you information, right? If you're not taking full advantage of it, then you're wasting your time. You're wasting your parents' money. You're wasting your own money. Why bother, right? I'm sure Gulsara, if she can be probably the same. She doesn't want to waste her time, sit in front of a kid and explain something if all they want is just hear nothing. So I know it's a long one, but hopefully that made sense.
Это на малазийском ты преподавал, да?
Mm-hmm.
Окей. Давай это, у нас уже в стилистике воспитательного часа пошло. Let's get back to the
All right, so are you saying the time is up? We gotta go? All right.
Time is not up. I'm saying
No.
let's get on the more positive note,
I know.
Чтобы не было такого ту-ту-ту-ту, да?
Exactly. All right. So don't ask me questions about, as long as you don't ask me the same questions, how is America, blah, blah, blah. Let's just not do that. Ask something that I can give you value in. Okay, something
Nasim, I have a very important question, and I'm sure most of the students would be interested. Like,
okay,
some of the students love Webster Tashkent campus, but I'm pretty sure most of the students are here, so in the future they can transfer to some American universities.
okay.
So if you can tell me, we have studied with you at the end, like at the 97, 2000, then you have studied further. I continued my education here in another country. What are the trends in education now? Well, like from whatever, like I have already friends who have kids who are going to universities.
Yeah.
And I hear that it got much more competitive. And it's
okay, yeah.
What are the trends and how to get ready so that they can like be on the equal terms with somebody from United States if they transfer to any American university?
It's a very good question. I think, okay, so there were multiple different questions within one question. Let me first address, I guess, the first part. In fact, last time when we did the introductions, what kind of boggled my mind was how many students were saying that they were going to this university, this Webster University that you guys all go to, purely because you want to come to America as a student or whatnot. Now, I don't know how it all works. If Webster University does some sort of a scholarship that you have to earn to come to the United States, or there's like a chance that, or maybe after a semester or two, you get automatically transferred to university. I don't know how it works.
No, but at least we have like international. This is like American based and international universities. At least the credits from here can be transferred to any American university.
I don't think it will be any American university. I'll be honest with you, because it really depends. First
Okay,
of
not
all,
some
first
of
of all,
them.
the school system here has tiers. Okay, now
Mhm.
if you want to go to some crappy university in Kansas, you don't need anything. You probably need some money just so that you could transfer there, but they will take anybody, especially international students, which adds to the diversity, right? So if you want to go to some Kansas City Christian University, then yeah, you don't need anything. You can go to a school like that anytime. So let's talk about different tiers. Okay. So there's a bottom tier, and the bottom tier is a university that exists because they need money. There are tons of those today. There are many universities in the United States. I don't know how many thousands. In each state, there's probably hundreds. In Colorado, here we have, I don't even know how many. We even have Arizona State University as like a franchise here somewhere in Denver. But anyway, my point is there are universities that exist for financial reasons. They need more students so that they can pay their teachers so that they can exist. Okay, anybody can go to those schools. So that's the bottom tier, and you don't need any great grades. All you need to show is you're an international student and some acceptable grades or whatever if you're transferring. Other than that, you don't even need to pass SAT, which is a standard test for a lot of American kids if you want to enter from high school to say university. You can just do whatever the TOEFL as English as a second language thing, right? And then maybe show whatever other requirements they've got. So those universities, like I said, they're really easy to get into. But if you want anything above that, right? Anything above that is you're going to start getting into state colleges. You're going to get into more higher end colleges, mid tier. In the mid tier, they will have some requirements that you have to pass. And that would be a very minimal requirement for TOEFL for international students because you need to be able to converse freely in English language to be able to take classes. And then there might be some other requirements. So you have to, it varies by school. I really don't know. Now, if you, and those guys are going to have some requirements, like I said. So, and a certain percentage of students in that class, they will have the scholarship opportunities. Now, not all the schools provide this opportunity, but some will take a very small percentage of all the students that apply, and they will allow a very small percentage to enter university on scholarship basis. Now, scholarship might not be full scholarship. Full scholarship means everything is paid for. It might be partial scholarship. So where like 50% of your education is paid for, or whatever, 70% is paid for, and the rest you have to pay yourself. So it all depends. If you're trying to find a school to go to and you've got the money, you don't need to do anything. You don't even need to go to Webster University. You come to the United States or any school in Europe, you pay the money and you get your education. That's easy. If you're trying to get a free ride, right, where you're trying to apply for scholarship and you get accepted as a special case, very talented student, then you have to look at mid-tier to upper tier schools. With mid-tier schools, they're going to have their requirements. They're not going to have that many students that they will accept, but the larger the university, typically the larger the percentage. And also it depends on how rich the university is. So if the university is very well off, like for example, if it's even if it's a government or state funded university like University of Colorado at Boulder, for example, that I went to, then they're going to have their each college or each like different major within the different department within that school is going to have its own funding that they can use towards scholarship programs, and they will have a certain percentage of international students that they accept. To be able to get full scholarship, you do have to show some very special skills and show that and they would have to be genuinely interested in you. Now, if you want to get into top tier university, and when I say top tier university, we're talking any of the Ivy League schools, any of the state schools in California, whether that's going to be University of California, Berkeley, University of California, San Francisco, any of those schools, or San Diego, um, those schools are considered to be top level, top tier schools, and they have extremely high competition from international students because everybody wants to get there. Now, keep in mind, you guys are from Uzbekistan. I don't think Uzbekistan scores very highly when it comes to things like GRE or GMAT or any of those, or any of the science based systems or programs. And you will be compete if you want to get into Harvard, as an example. You would have to be exceptional. And when I say exceptional, you would have to demonstrate, first of all, your score has to be extremely high. Now, keep in mind, I'll just give you an example. Say for SAT, which is what American kids study, I think the maximum score is 1650, 1650. Uh, there are people who will score 1650, and there will be hundreds of thousands of those people every year getting maximum score or very near maximum. That means nothing today. Your score means nothing because think of it this way. China consistently scores the highest when it comes to tests. They demonstrate exceptional testing skills, and yet, and they get accepted by large numbers. But that also means you'll be competing with those Chinese on the same level. So if you don't demonstrate something exceptional that the university is very interested in, you're not getting into any of those schools. And full scholarship, good luck with that. I mean, you would have to, like I said, during the last 2 hour thing that I did last week, if you guys remember, I talked about symphony. Okay. For a university, let's say it's Harvard, there are thousands of Chinese students that score the highest, way more than American students. Doesn't mean that they're going to take all of those thousand students that are exceptional. No, they don't want that because they want diversity. So it's not just by country, but it also diversity by skills. So if you're going to be super good in math and super good in physics and super good in English language or whatever, that's not enough because that just demonstrates that you have the brains. Okay, the brains today. I told you last time, being smart is not enough. You gotta be special. You gotta show some other skills that you're very good at. Volunteering, for example, is a thing. Being able to do, things that other kids don't do. They want the symphony. They want people with different diverse backgrounds that are different across the array of different skill sets. So that when you come to a class, you're not bored with 10 other kids that are exactly the same. Because if there are 10 geniuses sitting in one room, it's going to get really boring really quickly. Okay? They don't want that. They want 3 or 4 geniuses combined with a few people who are extremely sociable, combined with a few other people that might have completely other diverse skills. Then maybe somebody who's really good at playing, violin or a piano, and going to a business school. You would think that's not related. How is playing piano related to a business school? It is very much related. Today, if you do taekwondo and you're a black belt, or you play basketball in your national team, or you play football and you're a national team, those things matter way more than your score because that shows you are well versed in life besides education. Anybody can learn, but you need to be special.
Nasim,
Yeah.
about this, I have been watching the webinar by one very prominent advertising and designer agency. And the guy
Yeah.
was telling the great thing about when he hires like people for the creative work in designing. He was telling, I don't ask them for the portfolio. I
Mhm.
ask them for what they love to do. He
There you
says,
go.
because I will have a future with somebody who loves cooking or who loves dancing or
Exactly.
who is able to create stuff.
Exactly. I've interviewed a lot of people. I hired a lot of people, and I've dealt with all kinds of people. I've dealt with people who I was hiring who were 20, 30 years older than me. And I can tell you that for the most part, your qualifications don't matter. your experience doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, okay, so you've done it. Who cares? Are you going to be able to do a good job in your new environment? That's a different question. So why is it important, right? Why is it important to be relevant? Why is it important to be likable, sociable, and not just that? It's also being able to have something in common. It's like, when you get married, you don't want to sit in a room with your wife and she's in that corner, you're in this corner, and you have nothing to talk about, right? It's the same thing when you're working in a company. Imagine you're just married to a bunch of people, like you're spending a lot of time with them. So why would I want somebody who's like exceptional in their formal life but extremely boring, as an example, or they just cannot support a conversation, or they're so bad in their social life that they're awkward and they have issues. So these kind of things, they all matter. I think the ability to learn, and the things that I told you guys last time, right? The ability to learn, the ability to adapt, the ability to socialize with people, to understand their behavior, to try to even see, like, is this something that, like, if your boss is unhappy, you should be able to know that they're unhappy. Like, you cannot draw a blank poker face and look like an idiot, because you will look like an idiot. So for the best thing to do is to be able to understand these things, right? Is to try to, if you learn some of the things that I told you about, right, and read some of the books that I gave you last time, it's a step for you to take in that direction. So just work on those, I guess. I mean, I really, in terms of recommending books and resources, the question from earlier, right? That's what I would say is, like, all these things, they all matter. Don't think that, even don't think that even going to some special school is going to make you special, right? Like, there are tons of people that go to Harvard. There are tons of people that go to other schools. And if you talk to a person who went to Harvard versus someone who went to a mid-tier university, in a mid-tier university, people look for knowledge. In Harvard, people don't look for knowledge. Or in MIT or Brown or Caltech, none of those schools, people don't look for knowledge. They look for experience. They look for understanding things they will never get anywhere else. They even lectures that come like this kind of format, like that we're having right now. It's very normal for Ivy League and top tier schools to invite top executives. They will come to schools and they will not be giving them some lecture from a teacher that never ever worked anywhere in the real world, earning business, teaching business subjects, right? They are going to bring executives. There's going to be, if you guys go to YouTube, you can watch commencement speeches by all these notable people like Bill Gates and this and that. If you look at the bottom, it's like Bill Gates commencement speech, Yale University, or whatever, Steve Jobs commencement speech, Harvard University. Why? Because they can do this. They pay a lot of money, or those people, or the schools are so good that the people just want to come themselves. They don't want to get paid. They just want to show up because it's a cool thing to do, right? So these kind of things, don't think that by going to a top tier university, you're going there for knowledge. You're going there for a lot more than knowledge. That's why, yes, is it worth striving for the best schools? Absolutely. Is it worth working hard towards that goal? Absolutely. But if you just want to get to America, buy your ticket. Your parents can probably buy you a ticket, fly in and go to some, you know, place in Wichita that, has 10 students attending.
Or
Anybody can do
maybe
that.
even be a taxi driver in New York. It might be
Exactly. You
much more
can, hey,
interesting
a
than going
taxi
to.
driver in New York is probably going to be far more interesting to listen
Yeah.
to than anybody. In fact, when I was in London, it blew my mind how educated the black cab drivers are. I sat in a black cab. In America, when I came to the United States, people would ask me, "Where are you from?" And I would say, "I'm from Uzbekistan." They would say, "Pakistan? No, no, Uzbekistan.
Mm.
Afghanistan? No, 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 Uzbekistan. Where is that? Former Soviet Union. Oh, USSR. Yes. Are you so Siberia? No, God." And so like, these kind of things happen all the time, right? And then I went to London and I said, I just stopped a black cab and you got in. And as we're driving, the guy's like, "Hey, I noticed that you guys are speaking a different language. What language is that?" And I said, "It's Uzbek." And the guy said, "You're from Uzbekistan, from Tashkent, Fergana, Navai?" I was like, "What?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, I've been there. I love your country. It's a taxi driver." I was like, "Wow." And we were talking politics. He was well versed in everything. So at the end of the day, to become a taxi driver in London, you have to have some special brains. They have to memorize the entire map of City of London, and it has to be right here. And you will never pass a test unless you know every little street. They even give you a test and say from point A to point B, what's the quickest way to take a client? And then they give you in the exam, they'll say there's traffic on that road. How do you get around it? And you have to tell the name of the streets that you're going to take from your head. It's insane. So anyway, that's my point that I'm trying to make is at the end of the day, even what you do can seriously impact what you pack in here. You're muted.
About the taxi drivers, I remember like after coming back from studies in States, I was quite shocked to see how different bringing up the kids in our country. Like in United States, it's totally normal for the kids of the top executives to go and serve as a waitresses and waiters. Like they will take up any other jobs, you know. In our country,
right.
It's like they don't consider like babysitting or somebody being waiter or waitress. It's like they look down on it. But I have seen, I have had a very good friend. His dad was a chairperson of the city corporation, and his sister was doing waitressing in New York restaurants. It's like
that's very common.
And amount of wealth her dad had, and like she's still serving some other people because they learn to serve, they learn to interact, and this is quite normal thing. Like talking about the taxi drivers. And me, myself, вот я когда на русский перейду, отрабатывала в телекоме свой контракт, когда приехала. Like, просто нормально кияннаки, сантехник в нашем здании, который проработал очень много лет, он ко мне как-то подходит и говорит: Гульсара, давай тебя в аппарат президента устроить, тебе же карьеру надо сделать. Это сантехник был, понимаешь? У нас еще нету такой культуры, которая like you have to deal with people, all right, you know? But from people I have seen here, the most successful people, they do have that skill, you know?
Right. Это как в анекдоте, это спрашивают у человека, кем вы работаете, где вы работаете? Я работаю в президентском аппарате. О, а кем вы работаете? Уборщиком.
Да. Нет, ну он-то меня собирался устроить не уборщиком.
Ну, понятно.
Он мне просто говорит: слушай, ты, говорит, сколько здесь будешь ходить? Давай, говорит, это. Он просто like, we have had daily communication, and he would get me such tips like on the work, and like как-то он на президентскую елку моим племянникам даже это дал. Я чуть-чуть like, I'm like, как это, когнитивный диссонанс, like something.
Right, something isn't right. You can't connect the dots.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, so how about this? Just to take advantage of the time. Everybody is staring at the screen.
Yeah.
Listening to two people talk. Okay, that's me and Gulsara. I think it's getting pretty boring. I want to hear from other people. Okay, wait, Murjalal. Okay, hold on one second. There are 40 people in this place, okay? How about we give, if you don't mind, please, let's give an opportunity to other people to speak up, okay? So I'm looking at Bunyad Bek, I'm looking at Bobor, I'm looking at Jasur, I'm looking at Islam. Okay, we have Madina Bono already spoke, another Jasur. Come on, guys, make it happen. Sabina, I mean, I now figure out finally how to scroll this list. A bunch of people are just sitting there, don't even have your cameras turned on. Turn on your face. Let me see your face. I don't know you guys personally, but let me see your face. Turn on the camera. If your internet is slow, just say it in the chat. But other than that, you know, let's have a more open conversation, because I think it's very important that you guys take advantage of this time. Okay, and for all those people who have, like, somebody has a moon background, Jawal here, we have Mokhurjan Alimjanov with, don't do that, guys. Don't put some shadow face and Star Wars figures. Have your face. I want to see you guys. Come on. All right, so who's brave enough to talk?
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yes, shoot.
Is there a big difference between the education in the US and in Uzbekistan? Can you compare them?
To be honest, I think Uzbekistan. Okay, all right. Let me give you a quick story. I've got a 13-year-old who's homeschooled. We homeschool at home. My kids don't go to public schools for a number of reasons, which if you're interested in, I'll tell you later. But we homeschool our kids, and my oldest one is 13 years old, and he is already done with all the school. And he's actually attending a college right now, which is a local community college. But last year, I wanted him to study at university. And it's not me wanting it, it's him, because he's already done with the school and he's going to be bored if he doesn't do anything. So I told him, we actually wanted to go to Tashkent, and I wanted him to study in one of the local universities, believe it or not. And my top choice was Inha University, just because they teach everything in English, and also it's a very good school. I spoke to students. I'll tell you one thing, okay? And everybody hear me out on this. This is very important. The school is never made by money or university staff, teachers, none of that stuff. What makes university is the students. If I go to a class and there are a bunch of stupid faces looking at me, I'm sorry for saying this, and I don't mean any of you guys, but I'm just saying, if I go to a class and there are a bunch of blank faces staring at me, right, that means it's not a good university. If I go to a school and people are engaged and they're talking and they're conversing and they're vibrant and they're speaking out and they're just very active, right? That means that is a good university. Okay, now let me tell you a very quick story, and this will answer your question, hopefully. Um, my brother-in-law went to University of Alabama. Okay, now University of Alabama is a public school in Alabama. It's a very good school. He was a Dean's List top student, GPA 4.0. 4.0, that's the top GPA you can get. And that was his CGPA, cumulative GPA, which means it's not just for one semester, for the entire duration. So his dean recommended him to Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. University of Pennsylvania is Ivy League school. Wharton School of Business, it's every year when they reevaluate top business schools, Wharton School of Business ranks number one almost every year. Every once in a while, some other university will take the spot, but practically, if you look it up, top rankings, Wharton School of Business has always ranked as top tier. So they recommended him to Wharton. He got accepted to Wharton School. When he went to that school, his GPA went from 4.0 to 2.2. Okay. And I said, wow. So what happened? And he said, Nassim, I came into a class and, there were 30, 40 kids in that class that he went to. This is his first semester. And he said, before the class started, every student in that class already read the entire class book, the entire. They were, and he says, I don't know how it was possible because, we're still picking classes because they give you 2 weeks to pick a class and then you drop a class, you add classes or whatever. These kids already read the entire course. And when the teacher walked into the class, he said, do you have any questions? And the question wasn't about anything. And like he was expecting them to read the entire coursework before the class. So he was asking them, do you have any questions regarding the entire thing that I was supposed to teach you for the entire semester? He was so bombed by this. He didn't know what to do. He said 60% of the class were New York Jews from New York and Philadelphia that were like these guys. Oh my God, they were so smart. So he felt completely out of place. He studied hard day and night. And first semester, he had a GPA of 2.2. So he went from top student to the worst student by just going to the best school. What does it tell you? It tells you that in that school, again, it wasn't about the teacher. In fact, it's almost never about the teacher. If you think your teacher makes a difference, you're wrong. What makes a difference is you. If you do a good job, if you're active, if you're really hot for knowledge, your teacher will shine. So this is how it is in top schools. Comparing education in Uzbekistan and the United States, I think right now you have some of the top teachers out there. Some of the teachers who went to study in the United States. You can get guest speakers like me. There's tons of people who are in other countries that Gulsara and other teachers can probably invite. You're probably going to get even more things like this. This is where you take advantage of it. And you know what? It doesn't matter. You could be in Uzbek. In fact, right now, I would say it would be stupid for any of you guys to come to the United States. You're coming to a sick country. Like, things are not well in the United States right now. Things are really terrible. And in fact, heck, I can't travel from the United States to any other European country because they closed the borders. No American is allowed to come to most European countries. And if you come there, you have to be quarantined for 2 weeks in a hotel. It's a very bad thing. So if you're asking the question to find out whether I should continue my education in Uzbekistan or the United States, I would say continue your education in Uzbekistan right now. Don't worry too much about the United States. Okay. And if you have a chance to maybe later, when you're in the year 3 or 4, you don't need to technically attend all years. If you were looking for some education, you can come here later on when things settle down. Right now with the pandemic, absolutely not. That's a very, very bad thing to try. Did that answer your question? I know it's kind of long.
No, no. Okay, thanks. I got it.
Okay. All right. Let's hear from somebody else. We got another Jasur. We got a few other people. Come on, guys. Don't just stare at your screen.
May I?
All right. Who's this? Islam?
Yes.
All right. Speak up, man.
What was the biggest issue when you were a student?
When I was a student,
Yes.
oh boy. When I did the 2-hour thing, I talked about regret. There are a lot of things I regret. A lot of things. One of the biggest things for me was probably not taking advantage of all the things I could have taken advantage of while I was at the school. I mean, here's what I did. I came to the United States, and for me, school was easy. I don't know why. It was just easy. I took the most difficult classes in my first year. So I came here and I took senior level classes. Now, when you come to the United States or any other country where they have tiered education system, you're going to have classes for freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I took all the senior level classes in my first semester, and it was a very difficult thing to do. But in the beginning, I was like, let me just take some of the hardest classes and see how I do. And after that, it was a breeze. My last year, I didn't do anything. Now, in the first year, in addition to doing this, I also didn't want to be poor. Now, my education was paid for, and they were giving us a stipend, but that stipend wasn't enough. So I got a job at the University of Colorado in its Information Technology Services department. And in the beginning, my title was a bug buster. I would just go and fix other people's computers. And that's what I did throughout the 3 years that I studied here in the United States. I worked full-time as a student. And, working full-time is 40 hours a week. So I did 40 hours a week. And then I also was a full-time student, meaning I have to take at least 4 classes, which is 12 credits. I was able to transfer a lot of the credits from Tashkent State University, which was nice, but still I had 3 years in front of me. So I took a lot of different things to try. And as I did it, I didn't really pursue education. I wasn't, when I was in the school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. I was studying and fixing computers at the same time. And I was like, what am I going to do? I'm studying in a business school, and my favorite thing to do is computers. So I'm fixing computers and doing this kind of troubleshooting. So for me, it was not a very efficient use of my time for educational purposes. I got the bare minimum. I never chased amazing grades. I never went to there's students that will go after class to professors and they will talk to them and try to get more knowledge, more information. I never did any of that stuff. So I kind of regret that because I just did the bare minimum. I'm not now. My GPA was always good. My GPA like always above 3.2, 3.3. I got a bunch of A's, but I never really strived hard because when you work 40 hours a week, it's hard to balance life. So for me, it wasn't my primary interest. I just did what I had to do. So I wish I could go back and take advantage of true education because I could have taken some phenomenal classes. And another stupid thing I did, I'll tell you, on my 4th year when I was a senior, I already fulfilled all my business school requirements to graduate. Guess what I did in my last semester? I took Russian language and literature just to waste my time. I mean, I didn't need it. I speak Russian fluently. I went to a Russian school. I went to a Russian university, and then literature. I went to a Turkish high school, so I never actually studied Russian literature because, especially good Russian literature, because that's what they cover in the last few years of high school. So I don't regret taking that particular class, but taking the Russian class was a complete waste of time. I took a music class, a Russian class, a literature class, and then I can't remember. I think it was the fourth one was astronomy, and none of those things. I mean, astronomy was okay. I still remember astronomy. I can tell you the constellations and whatnot. But come on, I went to a business school, and none of those things were needed. But I did that because I was done. I was done with all the school, and I just needed to waste time. My last year, I was just busy working. I worked more than 40 hours a week. And I was a busy bee. So I kind of went into professional life before I even graduated. So in a way, I mean, it helped me out later because after I graduated from school in 2 years, I was invited back to university. I was already working as university staff, and I was already kind of senior level position, not just fixing computers, but fixing servers and doing all kinds of stuff like that. So I was invited back to University of Colorado to work there. So that was nice, but I kind of started my professional career before I even graduated. So if you were to ask me, what I could have done differently, I would say I wish I could go back and study more things that I could then use in my life later on. But at the same time, I don't really have too many heavy regrets because my professional career was jump started while receiving my education, which was nice. Anybody else? Or maybe if you have an additional question, Jessor, or whoever else.
Nasim, about you said you were working 40 hours a week. How does working while studying conflict?
Actually, we were not allowed to work more than 20 hours.
No,
As
no,
a
no.
foreign,
I mean brain wise. Like I'm quite sure if you go to the Harvard or like Ivy League, there is no
no
possibility.
way, no freaking way. Okay, like I said, remember those different tier universities. I went to a mid-tier university, which was a very good school. I mean, it produced, the University of Colorado Boulder produces some of the best engineers, some of the best mathematicians, and there's a lot of different things. But at the time when I did it, it was so easy for me. I just don't know why. I went to a business school in Tashkent. So for me, like all the things that they studied in the business school, I was already quite well versed in.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I truly took advantage of was the first semester of the last year, first half of the last year, where we did a lot of group studies and things like that. Balancing work and life for me, I've always been a busy bee. I cannot stand doing nothing. And when I realized that school is kind of easy for me, I didn't want to just, what else are you going to do? I also did Taekwondo. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. So yeah, I participated in Taekwondo team of the university. I played basketball a little bit here and there. Other than that, it was mostly working and studying to fill the gaps. But I'll tell
Like,
you, if you learn time management,
mm,
there's so many things you can do, guys. Like I know it's 24 hours a day, but you could take 24 hours and flip it multiple different ways. Okay. So let's talk time management now, for example. I'll ask you guys a question. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Just write it in the chat. I want to see it. Let's make an interaction. But you woke up, literally, alarm rang, and you just got off the bed. What's the first thing that you do? Come on. I want to see the answers. This is not a science question. This is not a trick question. Just write it, guys. I wake up, I brush my teeth. I wake up, have a shower, drinking water. Okay. All right.
okay,
Make a cup
nothing
of tea.
about first thing in the morning. There was a very good situation advertising. I think somewhere in Jami or whatever, where they sell all the stuff for the like whatever for the bathrooms and stuff.
Okay.
The picture of the flash and saying like flash from the toilet,
Right.
the toilet, saying the coffee in the morning is not the first thing.
Okay. All right, so come on, guys, participate. What the heck are you guys doing? There are 30 people in the class, 37 people. I only heard from like what, 5 people? Come on, make it lively. Even my cat got up. Look, this dude is like, what in the world is wrong with these people? Come on, do it for the cat, if not for me. What is it?
Oh my god.
What are you looking for, buddy? What are you looking for? Yeah, see? All right, come on. All right, so I'm going to read these out loud. Okay, so everybody for the most part, okay. Still, I only heard from like 5, 6 people. Come on, make it happen. Drinking water, have a shower, make cup of tea. Listening to music, really? Like you wake up and you just immediately turn on the music. Interesting. Take the phone.
No,
Okay.
just
Washing up, look
no,
at
no.
phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Madina, you want to say something?
I'm not talking about the just pop music or such kind of stuff, but for the about 10 minutes, I'm listening to tunes. I mean, sounds of rain or the just piano, which makes me get up more quicker and concentrate on my thoughts, which or just plan my day in my mind. The
Okay.
best way
Okay.
I
Good.
can do it. But
Good.
sometimes when I'm trying to it without music, I can fall asleep again.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's fine. I mean, if you listen to music and that's your first thing that inspires you, great. But I'll tell you one thing. Okay. Speaking of time, if you learn the
Hmm.
moment you wake up in the morning before you do anything else to make up your bed, the number one thing, it gives you two things.
Uh,
Number one, sense of
yeah, I
accomplishment. You
know.
literally achieved something before you even did anything. Okay. Before you brush your teeth, before you went to shower, you literally just made up your bed. Okay. Now, number two, you avoid what? Your parents telling you, did you make up your bed? How come your bed is messy? Okay. Later on, it might be your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, your husband. Okay. So that's number two. Number three, you feel that you've done something useful, and that's the first thing that you do in the
Hmm.
morning. If you guys can, and this is
Yep.
basics of time management, you start your day by making up your bed. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, after that, you plan your like as you wake up, right? Whether you take a shower next or you prep your breakfast, do your coffee, do your tea, whatever, running through your mind, somebody already said it, like think about my day's plan, right? That's a good thing to do. Why? Because it gives you an idea of what you want from that day, because this is you already planning your schedule. Okay, so after I get up, I have to take a shower. Then at 9 o'clock, I got to be at school or I got to be in front of my computer, and I'm going to do this, this, and this. If you start organizing your thoughts in that way, it will make your day much better because now you have plans, you have things that you need to achieve. And as you achieve those things, you circle them off, right? You check them off. In your mind, it doesn't have to be a physical checklist, but some people prefer checklists. Then that's how you do it. So time management is very important. And I think, if you take 24 hours, right, it would think, yeah, it's tough to find time. You take 24 hours, you subtract 8 hours. That's your sleep. Very few people need more than 8 hours of sleep. Now, you guys are young, and when you were a child, you needed 9, 10 hours of sleep. But as you get, over 16, 17 years old, 8 hours is the minimum. Okay, that's how many hours you need to put to sleep, because your brain during your daytime activities, everything that I'm telling you right now, it's during the day. By the way, here it's midnight. But anyway, during the day, what happens is your brain absorbs all the information that you can receive. It absorbs and it puts it in the frontal cortex right here in the front. This is your temporary memory. Okay, temporary memory, and by the way, there are lots of great books about how brain works, and they're very fascinating. But your temporary memory stores whatever happened on that day. As you go to sleep, when you are in deep sleep is when your body is completely dysfunctional. You're not thinking, you're not awake, you're not semi-awake, nothing like that. Your body is completely asleep. What happens is something miraculous happens. Your front temporary brain transfers information that's very important to your long-term memory, which is back here. And that transfer of information happens during the time when you sleep. That's why sleeping less than 8 hours a day is not good. Now, you could sleep, some people are good 6, 7 hours. But it depends. Everybody's body is different. If you're extremely healthy, you could probably get away with 6 hours. On average, it's 8 hours. Now, if you subtract 24 minus 8, right, you've got a few hours still left in the day. And how you can take advantage of them, my goodness. If you do things efficiently, those 16 hours are a huge amount of time. Okay. And you could do so many different things with those 16 hours, right? Aside from just like, how many of you guys waste time on your phone? Come on, be honest about it. I do myself too. And it's very normal, right? In our day-to-day lives, this is what happens. You get notifications, your friends are texting you, you're getting all this stuff and here and there. Your life gets busy. You go on Instagram, then you're on Facebook, and by the next thing you know, you're on YouTube, and you just wasted 3 hours of your time. This is how time gets wasted. If you want to take advantage of your time, those 16 hours could be extremely, extremely powerful if you take advantage of them properly. So learn how to do that from the young age. And I'll tell you one of the interesting things that I've seen in my life. Most of the young kids that I get to talk to today, they lack a few very important traits. And one of them is organization. Organization, I wish that many countries had conscription where, you're forced to go to the military. Now, in Uzbekistan, I understand, military is not great, but one of the things that you learn in the military is order. Waking up at a particular time every single day. Everybody has to wake up. You have no choice. Going to bed at the same time, eating food at the same time, right? So your body becomes a machine. You learn how to eat lunch at 12:30 every day, or whatever, 1 p.m. That's your lunchtime. In the breakfast time is 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Your body becomes a machine. It gets used to doing the same thing over and over and over again. And as you do that, you become extremely efficient. So one of the things that I see lacking is organization. People just don't know how to organize themselves. They're so messy. Like if I walk into your room and your room has things laying on the ground, or like your desk is all over the place, your computer, come on, you've seen it all. You turn on somebody's computer and they have like pictures and icons scattered all across their screen. And you're like, how the hell do you even find anything, right? If you're a messy kind, that means you're disorganized. And if you're disorganized, you're going to have a very hard time with managing your time. So the first thing you need to learn is organization. And I'll tell you one quick tip that I always tell to other people that I care about. My mom growing up always said one thing. If you take something from anywhere, all you have to do is return it back to the exact same spot. This is so simple, so mind-blowingly simple. Nobody does this. So here's what happens. Say I need to use this for whatever reason. I use it as a scarf. I brought it back and I toss it on my chair. Well, I took it from a closet, but I put it on the chair. Well, the chair now has mess on it, right? And until I clean it up and I take it back to closet, it's just going to sit there. This is how you create mess. But if you organize yourself from the very beginning, if your room is tidy and you read a book, if you take that book and put it exactly where you took it from, then you're back to order. And if you learn how to do this at a young age, it will save you so many times, so many hours of frustration when you're actually working in the field. I can tell you disorganization destroys people, not just in everyday life where they're so messy, right? Nobody wants to get married to a guy who's extremely messy or a girl who's extremely messy or whatever, or even have, like you guys probably have siblings, right? If you clean up after your sister or brother every single day, that drives you nuts, right? Nobody likes that. So not only will that destroy your personal life, but in your professional life, if I walk into an office and you're working and your computer is right there and you have mugs, coffee, food, your keyboard is messy. Oh God, I mean, I cleaned so many computers from viruses and whatnot. The worst thing I can tell you is personal space. You walk into somebody's personal space when they're working on something, and it's just nasty seeing that they're spilling coffee all over the keyboards, like putting food on anything. Like they'll eat with one hand and have the phone on the other, or like, and then change it, and then like it's grease all over their phone. Like these kind of things are just, that's your way of destroying your potential organization. So if you learn how to organize yourself from the get-go, this is something that you will be able to take advantage of. When I travel internationally, if you saw my packing bag, right, I've organized my bag. I put everything in sections, right? And you don't need to be someone special. You don't have to have OCD for this. Nothing like that. Anybody can do this, right? And I always just follow my mother's routine. I take something and I put it exactly to the same spot where I took it from. That's all there is to it. So simple. Anybody can do this. So learn how to do this from the young age so that you don't have to go to military to learn that skill from. I personally got a lot from the military. I think it's a wonderful thing for a lot of people to go through. In the United States, they even have boy scouts and all these kind of other things. But I always tell my kids the same thing. Just you took it from there, you put it exactly where you took it from. That's all there is to it. Okay. So morning exercise. I love that. Babor, good for you, man. Doing a morning exercise is excellent. But again, plan that in your head. Know that you want that. And, doing a morning exercise, saying Khudoga Shkur for waking up and washing my face. That's wonderful, right? I mean, being grateful. Being grateful, you guys cannot imagine how wonderful it is to be grateful. One of the reasons why people are unhappy in today's world is because nothing is enough for them. Nothing is enough. You have a roof over your head, you have breakfast to eat, you already have more than most people. And being grateful for that is a wonderful thing. So, I love that. All right, guys, more questions. Come on, let's make it more interactive. The whole point of this was try to get more questions from the stuff that we discussed about. And I don't want to just see glances at the screen. Come on, make it work, guys.
Asim, can I ask a question again?
All right, go for it. Wait. How about this? Wait, before you ask a question,
yeah,
I need the next person to be in line. So I need to know before you ask the question that there's someone else waiting to ask the question. Okay.
Let's appoint them then.
Otherwise, I'm literally just going to go by this list and I'm going to pick a victim. Okay.
Yeah.
If I don't hear from somebody in the next 5 seconds, I'm picking a victim, and you'd better be alive.
Yeah. The question is, I have asked you about the work and how it conflicts with the studies.
Wait. 5 seconds passed. I'm picking a victim.
Yeah.
Is there nobody who wants to?
No, I want.
Okay, Medina, you asked the question. So how about we give a turn? I'll let you ask the question the next round, since you already asked the question earlier. I want somebody else to be alive. Okay.
I know Sabina was raising her hand as well.
Okay, Sabina, no raising hand. You just gotta make it work. Okay, are you gonna be next? Sabina Zakiro, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you're next. Okay, now Gulsara, going back to you. Ask your question.
Yeah.
I got my victim.
Working and studying, we understood. But what I wanted to hear, what kind of work should be picked? Like if somebody is a freshman, let's say, what kind of a start is better that they can go on with this?
I mean, I'll tell you. Okay, so here's what happened when I came to the United States. Most of the kids saw that I went to school with, University of Colorado. They saw that I was working and I'm making money, and they're like, man, this is great. Like, you got all this money. Man, I had so much money. Back in the day, like, I can't remember the exact sums, but it was something like I was making like $35,000 a year as a university staff while getting paid stipend and everything. And I was tax free because as a student, as an international student, you don't pay taxes. So when other people would find out, their minds were blown. They're like, oh my God, I want to work, right? So what they would do, go get a job and do pizza, like deliver pizza. Or go into the bookstore and organize books in the library or something. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I got a job delivering pizza, I would rather not work and study. If you have a chance, do something that interests you, that is actually beneficial to you. I started my career first year in the United States, first semester. And I mean, I can tell you all kinds of crazy stories about it, but anyway, that's beyond the point. I did not want a job doing pizza or delivery. I started looking for something that I had genuine interest in. And I showed up for the interview. I said, I really want this job and I'll fix computers. I'll learn whatever I don't know. Right. And they took me. So if you do the same thing, I mean, if you got in the United States and you want to work while studying, do something that actually benefits you. If you're gonna deliver pizza or cook food or whatever other, like we had kids who did who worked at the cinema. Like, how many movies can you watch? Like, you can watch your movies at home, right? Like, why do you need to come to the United States to get paid whatever the minimum wage they would get paid to watch movies or to clean up after people and clean up their popcorn after they were done eating in a movie theater? That's not the right way to spend your time. All right, does that answer your question, Gusara? I hope it does, because I can't hear you. All right.
Yeah, it's quite what I wanted to hear, because I myself have had an opportunity while in state to work like as a cashier for a while
Yep.
in the bookstore, which
Yep.
covered some of my expenses, which was nice. But it was
Right.
much better when I got a job in advertising, mid-size advertising agency,
See,
and it was
how
terrific.
much more you got out of it, right? Like, you actually had a jump start. Like, you actually
Yeah.
could take that knowledge and apply
Mhm.
to a new job and say that you had employment. Now, if you deliver pizza as a
Yeah.
university student and you graduated with a business degree, are you going to put that in your resume? Delivered pizza for 6 months while being a student? Nobody cares.
I was getting paid in the advertising agency, maybe minimum wage, but I was getting ready for my advertising classes. Like, I was
Right.
reading the theory with a practice,
Yeah.
like with the president of
Okay.
the agency.
Right. I want to add something to this. I will take, as a student at the time, if they told me I wouldn't get paid for it, I would still take that job. In fact, I would, if you guys are coming to study and you have a chance to work, jump even now in Uzbekistan. Don't wait until you graduate. What are you waiting for? Like, are you waiting for some miracle to happen? Some like ball to drop? Imagine this: you have 100 students in your class. There's going to be 100 competitors looking for the same job at the same time. Your best bet is to go out there and look for a job now and get a free job. If nobody wants to pay you, okay, just get a free job. Like, literally internship, some sort of thing where you just show up and you do whatever it takes, because that you can put on your resume. That is already, as a student, you're already striving to do something different, right? You're not just sitting in the classes. Now, if your classes are so hard that you can't do it, I would understand. And maybe that's how it is for you guys. If it's very difficult to study, then obviously you can't really do that. But even an hour a week as an intern, unpaid intern, I would take that anytime. That's so valuable. Much better than doing any other job that you're gonna ashamed of to put in your resume, or not having any job at all. All right, I'm now to my victim, Sabina. Are you there?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't just run away, did you?
No, I'm here.
All right, let's hear it.
So I have a personal question for
Personal
you.
question, shoot away. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. I am very envy you to speech your speech, and how you improve your
Okay.
and when I speak, I never get my and share my opinion with another people. And can you give me any kind of advice to improve my speech and to feel free to speak for people?
Okay, so what you're asking is, how do I get better at speaking?
Yes.
And is it especially public speaking that you're interested in?
Yeah.
Okay. Public speaking needs something that a lot of young people nowadays have a hard time with, which is confidence. Okay. It's not just in the choice of words that you pick, because anybody can speak. I could say the same things that I'm telling you right now in Russian. I'm maybe not as good as an Uzbek, just because, yeah, I speak Uzbek, but we spoke that at home. I never actually went to school to study Uzbek language. So for me, it's a little bit more difficult. I fully understand it, but conversing, I could converse in Russian and English equally well. And I can tell you the things that I'm telling you right now in these two languages without any problems because I have confidence that I can deliver and I'm not ashamed of it. To be able to overcome the confidence issues, the best thing you can do is engage more in public speaking. Okay, this means that if you're taking classes, right, volunteer, organize. In fact, if you guys are going to have any subjects where there's group work, right, volunteer to be representing your group. Speak more and more and more. That's the only way you can get good at it, because it's there's a concept of 10,000 hours. Have you guys heard of it?
Yes.
10,000 hours. Okay. So
For
in
the research.
Taekwondo, it's 10,000 kicks, right? So like to become really good at doing a roundhouse kick, you got to kick it 10,000 times. To be able to do something really well, you got to try it 10,000 times, because what it means is repetition brings experience, and that brings confidence. When you know that you can do something and you can do something well, it just comes out of you. You don't even have to train for it. So my suggestion would be number one, right? And I'm talking about public speaking, period. I'm not talking about language skills because that's different. Okay. Public speaking has to do with confidence, being able to deliver. Also, volunteer for some things. Be in the environment where there are a lot of people listening and you're the only one talking. Okay. And okay, so have you guys ever heard of the game called Mafia?
Mafia,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
of
so
course.
you sit in a circle of people, and these might be your friends, your relatives, whatever. Everybody gets a card, and somebody, like a black card is mafia, and then everybody else is a citizen, right?
Mhm.
And in such an environment, you're given a chance to talk. Like, don't shy away. Be the one to talk. Like, these kind of things, they always create more confidence, because now that game, the negative thing about that game, it also teaches you to lie. But sometimes maybe that's a good skill to have, just so that you can have more confidence. But in reality, I would say volunteering and going out and trying to do more public speaking, right? Where, like, just learn some material. Okay, so how old are you? I'm sorry for asking this question. Are you
17,
16, 17? I'm sorry?
17, 8.
17. Okay.
17.
So you guys are all, between 16 and 20 years old. But how many kids are there that are going to a school that you went to that are much younger than you? Anybody? Like, you go to your previous school that you go to. Anybody care to go to school after you graduated from the school? Or did you guys like, oh, I mean, Allah Akbar, I'm out of here? Seriously, like, most kids will never go back to their school, and that's a very bad thing. I'll tell you why. Because you graduated, right? And you're just now moving on with your life. But there are lots of kids that could learn from you. What I'm doing with you right now, why can't you do that to the younger kids who are 10, 8, 9 years old, much younger than you guys? And if you go to a class and somebody gives you half an hour to talk, you could present them on something. Give them a presentation in English language, or, like, do it in any, it doesn't matter what language. Go back to your school and just find one subject, study real hard, and then present it to a group of young people, even kids who are a couple of years older or younger than you. And that will give you so much confidence, because now you're delivering to a live audience. So going back to your school and asking your teacher to give you half an hour time after she's done is not a problem. Trust me. And now will give you so much confidence. Now, if you're asking about language skills, being able to speak fluently in English language, that has to do with you working hard on learning the language itself and not conversing in that language. So, for example, during this time, I'm trying to avoid speaking Russian or Uzbek language. I can easily converse in those languages, right? I can speak Turkish as well, and I can, if anybody here speaks Turkish, we could speak in Turkish. But I'm trying to avoid those languages just so that you could get the benefit of me speaking English, American English. So the best thing to do, and I went to school. When I went to school, we would establish rules, and the rule went like this: everything we had to speak had to be in English. So I have friends and we're going to the same school. I would say, okay, we have a month of no other language other than English. And if anybody speaks even a word of Russian or even a word of Uzbek, they would get the punishment. Like, they would get, whatever punishment we could make up. So what that does is you go to a place to play Mafia. Nobody speaks Russian. Nobody speaks Uzbek. Everybody speaks English. That's your chance to continuously start thinking. Now, when they say how you know that you're fluent in the language is when you start counting in your brain in that language. So if I have 10 chairs to count, if I can easily do that in English and Russian, that means I'm fluent in both languages. Now, your mother tongue is the one that you always pick one language or the other for counting things, is what they say. But again, these are the things that for you to be able to do that, you just need to practice, 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 practice. That's all there is to it. Watch some movies too. I mean, that can be helpful. But like I said last time, don't waste your time doing it. When I was in Uzbekistan at home, growing up in Fergana, we had satellite dish, and there were a bunch of Russian television shows. You would sit eat dinner, and it was all in Russian. I would switch the channel to MTV. Not because it was music, because in MTV they had a bunch of different shows, and they would always speak in English. So I would find every opportunity to listen to it, to speak it. And for me, the reason why it was so easy to study in America was because when I came here, I was fluent. My English skills haven't really advanced to the crazy level while I was here. My English, if you listen to me when I was a student, I was maybe slightly worse than I am today. So that's just how it is. You just practice, practice, practice. And between each other, like just make a rule. Don't speak Russian, don't speak Uzbek. Anybody can do that. I mean, you hear that every day in your environment at home. If your parents speak English, make them. Like just force them. In my environment, I've got problem the other way around. My kids want to speak English, and I'm trying to teach them Uzbek and Russian. So we sometimes force them. We say, no, you're going to have to speak that in Russian. And they really struggle because they have no problem saying things in English. English is the easiest language in the world. That's why it's the number one language. It's the easiest language. It's so easy. Sentence structures are short. It's super easy. Anybody can master English language. Russian is a very difficult language to master for a person who's non-speaking Russian. So just keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to pick my, does that answer your question, or do you want to ask something else related to it? No? Good? All right. Who else?
May I?
Okay.
May I?
Yes. Who is this? Please present
Islam,
yourself.
Islam. I cannot switch on camera because my internet are unable to maintain.
No problem. No problem. Go ahead.
So, how to avoid manipulation from speaker? Some speakers have techniques, that allows them to manipulate with people's mind, and how to avoid them.
Okay. This is a very strange question, let me tell you. Are you asking me how to avoid manipulation by people who are really good?
Yes.
Okay, well, first
Really
of all,
good speaker.
Sure, I mean, anybody can be a good speaker, right? But why would you even listen to a person who can potentially manipulate you? Did you hear my question?
No, can you repeat?
So why would you listen to a person who can manipulate you in the first place? Why not avoid them? Like, if that's what you're afraid of.
Maybe I don't know that he is manipulator.
Okay. I mean, are you talking about like potentially politicians, somebody who's a liar, who's trying to
Yes.
manipulate you? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, that's all psychology. It's all psychology. The books that I gave you guys the other day, read some of those books, but how to win friends and make how to, it was a Dale Carnegie book. It's slipping my mind, but How to Win Friends is a book that you need to read because it's all about basic psychology. Now, if you want to avoid manipulation, you just need to be very well versed in it. Like if you're really good, you're not going to be able to be manipulated. Like if you're listening to a politician and he's full of BS, right, and he's a liar and he's trying to manipulate you, if you're very well versed in politics, you're not going to be manipulatable. People who are manipulated are usually inferior in their intelligence. So if you're afraid of manipulation, just be smart. Just be smarter than the person who's trying to manipulate you. That's all there is to it. Now, there are certain things that you cannot control. If you guys study marketing, there are some really interesting concepts in marketing where, for example, there's a concept of subliminal advertising where you don't even know that you're being advertised and you see the material. It's somewhere deep in your brain. You see a flash of a picture. Sometimes they call it the 25th frame or whatever. So you see things and you don't know, and somehow your brain by association is manipulated. Those things are extremely dangerous because they go into the subconscious mind. Now, if somebody's able to do that, there's really no way around it. And that's why the best thing to do is to try to not subject yourself to that. So for example, Facebook, right? Facebook, all social media is a manipulation machine. If you don't have to go far. I mean, I can give you examples of my mom. Sometimes we sit on a dinner table, just at a dinner table discussing some stuff, and she'll just go, "Yeah, I just read this," and she'll present it as a fact, and I'll immediately ask, "Mom, where did you get this from?" And the moment I hear Facebook or any social media, I always cringe. Why? Because it's so easy to put something together that looks so real. You'll find videos of people saying things when in reality they just used artificial intelligence to just put a mannequin and just like put some video and manipulate a person's eyes, speech, as if they said something, but in reality they never did. This has happened in this country so much. In fact, the United States right now is trying to crack all these corporations, mega corporations that are extremely powerful. Facebook is a very powerful organization because they are able to do these things and they have no control of stopping this kind of subliminal advertising and manipulation. And it happens all the time. And I can tell you, I personally don't use Facebook. I have it for business reasons. I only go to my business page, or if my followers ask me a question, I'll respond to them. And even that I haven't done in past year. I probably haven't logged into Facebook. Why? Because it gives me nothing. Like I don't care what you had for lunch. I really don't. I don't care if you have friends that are doing something exciting, or if you're going to share a video of you doing something crazy. I really don't care. Like if you are my friend, I would rather pick a phone, call you, or come and see you, right? But I don't care that like I have 500 friends on Facebook and they all do these crazy things. That doesn't matter to me. If you bought a new home, good for you. If you just graduated, good for you. If you did something exciting, good for you. That brings me nothing. I don't need to know that. So for me, social media is a complete garbage waste of time. If any of you guys are on those platforms, I urge you to quit them before it gets worse. Because if you want to know how people are manipulated, watch Sean, whatever the heck his last name was, Sean Tucker, I think, the guy who co-owned Facebook. And he will, there's a video on YouTube that you can watch where he explains how they manipulated people's minds and how they took advantage of their time so that they could maximize the amount of time that person spends on Facebook. And what they do is called dopamine. They give you something and you like it. So for example, say you feel pretty today. You woke up in the morning, you took a shower, you put some makeup on for girls or for the guys, did your hair thing, and you do a selfie and you post it on the internet, right? You post it on Facebook and somebody clicks the like button. That like button is an instant feedback. That basically gives your brain this dopamine effect where it fools to think that you now feel good about yourself. And the more likes you get, the more good you feel about yourself. And then what happens afterwards is next day you post another photo, but this time you didn't get as many likes. And all of a sudden you feel down. You think, oh my God, so like yesterday I looked so great. Today I don't look so great anymore because my friends don't like me, or I didn't get as many likes as I did yesterday. It manipulates your brain into thinking that you need to do something. And this is what is destroying the youth today. Everything is instant feedback. I need to know. Like when people ask me for my Facebook page, I don't want to give them my Facebook page. What are you going to get? I'm not going to post my food. I'm not going to post selfies of myself. I'm not going to do any of that junk. So, you're going to get a business page where I post my stuff. All this stuff is useless junk. Get away from Facebook, Instagram, any of the social media stuff. TikTok. Oh my God, this TikTok thing, I can't stand it. Well, why do people dance in front of a screen? It's all for the dopamine, right? Like all these things, the trends that they have on TikTok, where people are doing some standard music and everybody dances to it. That's for the guys to look at the girls and for the girls to look at the guys. And then to feel good, the more likes that they get, the more they are fooled to thinking that they're somehow important. You are not important. You are only important to yourself. Nobody gives a damn in real life. Those people that you meet online, they're worthless. They will give you nothing. And if you have virtual friends, anybody plays virtual games, none of those people, they're worthless. They're nobody. So pursuing this kind of life is destructive. And last year I was listening to, it was on TV show where they were talking about what the kids want to do today. It was disheartening to hear so many kids say that they want to become an Instagram star because they hear these stories about people with millions of Instagram followers and they making millions of dollars and blah, blah, blah. That is all fake world. You live in a fake world with a fake status just so that you could pride yourself of being a social media star. It means nothing. So just keep that in mind, okay? I know for some of you guys, maybe that's the career that you wanted to pursue. I urge you guys, these things are all temporary. These things will come and go. Social media influencers. I'm being called a social media influencer. I was invited to events because of, I had like 400, I don't even know how many followers I've got on Facebook today, but I think it's closer to 400,000. And like with all these other followers I have, I don't even know how many millions there are that read my website and go to my social media profile pages. I don't care. It means nothing to me. I don't post anything in there. People who follow me, they probably end up unfollowing me because I don't give them enough. I'm not going to put my pretty selfie picture out there. None of that stuff. It's all junk. It's worthless. It's meaningless junk. Billions of pictures and video uploaded for what? People are wasting their time with this stuff. So I urge you guys, anybody who's doing this stuff, quit it before it gets too late. Seriously. And I know some of you guys want to feel pretty. You want to feel pretty? Do it for your people that you love. Do that for your family. Do that for your friends, right? Do that for somebody that is out there who's a real person. Don't do it for the stupid Facebook likes. You don't even know how many of those likes are actually real, right? So that's just my take. I know I sound very negative when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I've always been very critical of this kind of stuff. It's not good for you. Trust me. Quit it before it gets too late. And I know everybody's doing it. Don't be a cow. When I was in Jordan, and I travel. I've been to many countries. When I was in Israel, I was in Jordan, I was in Turkey, I was in Faroe Islands. I see the same thing over and over and over again. You see all the young people are on their phones, and all they're doing is social media. But the worst, I've never seen anything like that. It was in Jordan. Every single person was on Facebook. In fact, in Jordan, the carriers for phone service, they sell specific plans that only are called Facebook. I didn't even know there was such a thing. You basically buy a phone, or you connect your phone through the data carrier. You get your number. Somebody can call you. They don't even have text messaging. Literally, you have no text messaging. They only give you Facebook. And it's not just Facebook, it's unlimited Facebook. But you cannot visit any website. You cannot go to Twitter. You cannot go to TikTok, nothing like that. It's only Facebook. And this plan is like $5
Nasim,
a month.
we have it the same here.
Oh my
For the
God.
social media,
Okay.
for the social media, you have the package, and once
There
you
you
go
go.
outside, even you check your email, you start losing your megabytes.
So I'll tell you how it's done, just so that everybody is aware of it. Here's how it's actually done. Companies like Facebook, they negotiate this with the carriers. They will go to countries. Facebook is not powerful in America. Very few people actually, by numbers, we only have like 350 million people, and there's 7 billion people in the world. The majority of Facebook users are not in America. They're everywhere else. And I'll tell you what Facebook does. They go to other countries and they negotiate contracts with cell phone carriers. And they will say, we will pay you to have Facebook only plan. This is how they end up with social media accounts. Now, what happens if you only have, now here's what actually happened. This happened in Bangladesh. This happened in China. This happened in Sri Lanka. You know, this happened there are regions where people were getting killed because of misinformation that was spread on Facebook. When I was in Jordan, what boggled my mind, I'm a photographer. I take pictures. People, come to me and they see my camera. They see this large camera. They're like, "Can you take my picture?" So I'll take the picture. And how do you want to deliver? Do you have an email address? And they're looking at me. They didn't even know what an email address is. I was like, "Really? Okay. So do you have a text that I can? Do you have WhatsApp?" Nope. Nope. No. What do you have? Facebook. And I don't use really Facebook, but sometimes I have to, right? So what boggled my mind was that people in some countries like Jordan, there are regions that I've been to that they don't even know that there's anything called the internet. There's the internet for them is Facebook. That blew my mind. I was like, are you kidding me? Literally, your understanding of the internet is Facebook. They think Facebook equals internet. That's it. Every video they get, every private message they receive, everything that they see, all the news they see is Facebook only. This is manipulation. This is what Facebook does. It's an evil company. It's an evil company founded by a guy who will sell your information to anybody. Facebook makes billions of dollars in advertising. And I can tell you, okay, so I provide different consulting services. Okay. And I can tell you, if you were to ask me what's the most efficient advertising platform today, I would tell you it's Facebook. Why? Because if I want to sell something, say I want to sell, I don't know, a pen. Okay. I want to sell a pen. I just made my own pen and I want to sell it to a group of people. Why would I pay Facebook money to sell that pen? Because I need to sell that pen in a very particular region, United States. I want to sell it in Colorado because this is where I'm from, and it's easier and cheaper for me to ship that. So I need to be able to basically have a very small group of people. But not only that, I know that the pen is not really needed by young people because no young people use pen. I want to deliver to older kind, right? Anybody who's older than 40 years of age. And I know that the males are more likely to use a pen, 60% more likely to use a pen than females, as an example. It's not really true, but whatever. And I know that I want to really focus on one particular town. I can do that very easily with Facebook because with Facebook, when you sign up, you give them your real name, you give them your date of birth. So you give them your location. Whether you write your location or not doesn't matter. It uses location services from your phone to know exactly where you're from. It will also give you, many people surrender their age, their marital status, like who they're friends with, their political affiliations. Literally, every time when Facebook adds and says, complete your profile, you're in step 2 out of 10. What they do is they create different segments of groups that they can easily sell to. This is what it's all about. So Facebook is literally segmenting the market into different groups. That's all they're doing. It's manipulation 100% in order to be able to create a different group of people. So for me to be able to sell that pen, I can literally target that very specific niche group of people. That's why when you go to Facebook and you look at the ads that are showing up, those ads are related to you. It's called personalized ad experience. What they do is they manipulate people through those different ads and deliver specifically to that. And the only way they can do that is by selling your information. The craziest thing is that you're willingly providing it. They're not, even if you type your name as John Doe, born in January 1st, 1901, and I'm from Berlin, Germany, it's meaningless. They know very well when your information is truthful and when it's not by looking at your connections. Because you can't really connect in Facebook if your name is John Doe and you want your sister to be part of your network. She's going to say, who the hell are you? I don't know who John Doe is. I'm not going to accept that thing, right? So they know very well who you are. That's the whole point of creating this massive network of people. It's so that they can differentiate groups and categorize them and sell that information. That's all that's used for. There's no other purpose. That's why I quit that kind of stuff, guys. I mean, the earlier you do it, the better. And I can tell you, your lives are going to be talking about time management. God, I can tell you, if you guys could get off your phones and not use social media, you will have all your time in the world to do anything you want. All right. Okay, I'm going to pick my next target. Bunyod Beg Bakhtiorov, you've been looking at the screen all day. I don't know if you're playing games. Are you playing like some game and just pretending that you're not listening? Or pretending that you're listening?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, I want to hear. Okay, shoot a question, man. Anything. You're my next victim.
I don't have any questions because you already answered.
Come on. You're a young guy. You have everything ahead of you and you have no questions. All right, how about you think about it, okay? Think about it. Just anything that you could find useful. I'm going to find somebody else as a victim next. I'm going to pick on Javelon Bakhtiorov. He just disappeared. Oh, there you go. You guys know each other? Like, have you actually met? All of you guys. What, you don't know each other?
We only see each other like this.
What?
Yeah, it's quarantine. What do you want? Like,
I know, but
everything has been
did you
online.
say this is your first semester?
Yeah, it's a freshman first year.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you never had a chance to actually meet each other.
Not me as an instructor, even themselves within each other. Nothing.
Wow. Okay. Well, at least you guys, like, after the class is over, do you just hang out a little bit and talk to each other? You don't.
Only, yeah, only we did it. When we had the group presentation, only during this time.
Only during group presentation.
Yeah.
And okay. Wow. You know, if this is going to be the future, this is a terrible future, guys. I hope it doesn't happen. All right, you guys need to be. I mean, heck, when I was a student, I loved interaction. I would go and talk to everybody. You know, if you want to stand out, this is what we talked about. Okay, let me tell you one quick story. Okay, I will pick on Javelon. You're still my target. Okay, I want you to think about a question next because I'm definitely coming back for you. But I'll tell you one quick story as you think about a question. So there's this concept in all young people's minds of social acceptance. Okay. What that means is I want to look normal. I want to be like everybody else. And this concept is very dangerous because this is the concept that you're given when you went to school. Okay. And it's not necessarily your teacher who did it, but it's mostly other kids because everybody wants you to be like them. Okay. You become them. You become like everybody else. You're in this mix of average. Everybody is the same. Okay, that kid does this. So does everybody else. You guys study math. So does everybody else. So everyone starts to become the same. And then there's a concept of social acceptance. What it means is I want to be accepted into this club of cool people, and I will do whatever it takes. And it's a really stupid concept. That's how you end up doing drugs, alcohol, sex, all of that stuff. Because you are fooled into thinking this is how you need to be normal. And the way I always tell this to people, I had a lot of conversations with my niece. My niece went to school in London, and she struggled with this a lot. Okay, so as she went to school in London, she had identity issues. Like, who am I? Am I an Uzbek girl from Uzbekistan, who's studying in England? Am I in English? Because she was practically raised there. My sister moved to London when she was when my niece was only 7 8 years old or something like. She was very young. So she came to United States to visit me, and she was telling me how like all these other girls are doing this, and my mom is not letting me do this. Like all the girls are having sleepover. My mom says no to sleepovers. All these other girls are wearing short skirts. My mom says no to short skirts. All these other girls are wearing this cologne or like having the latest iPhone and this. My mom is not letting me. And I said, I sat down with her and I said, so you want to be junk like everybody else? Is that your goal? And she said, what do you mean by that? I said, well, it looks like you're looking for a way to be average. Like you literally, if there's a stream and it's a water and everybody's swimming in that water and it's a dirt pool, it's mud, but everybody's doing it, you're going to do the same thing. Why do you want to be like that? There's the idea of social acceptance where you need to be like everybody else is a fool's idea. Don't fall for that. Don't try to jump in a river and be like everybody else. When this whole when Steve Jobs was alive, and a lot of different quotes were given to him, and he truly was a very brilliant man, very selfish man. You can watch a movie about him, but there are a lot of stupid things that he's done in his life. But there are a few also other things that he's done. When the Apple logo came out with that slightly bitten apple, you've seen the Apple logo, and on the bottom it said "Be different." A lot of people didn't understand it at the time. The reason why Apple became what it is today, the most valuable company in the world. In fact, I watched its stock get to $2 trillion just a month and a half ago or so. $2 trillion. That's before they did the 4-to-1 stock split. $2 trillion. That's larger than a lot of the economies of the world, countries. And when that happened, it was mind blowing, right? Like the iPhone, everybody wants the iPhone. Everybody wants the Mac and this and that. How did it become this company to be associated as a value-driven company that gives the best user experience? It's right in the logo. It said, "Be different." What does it mean for you? It means for you that if you're going to be just like all the other kids in your class, you're going to be average. You're going to be just like everybody else, right? Okay, so you guys are a special group of people because, you speak English and blah, blah, blah. You might have some better skills than the average school kid in Uzbekistan. So who cares? Who cares? If you're going to be just like them, right, not want to be something special, you're average. You're nothing but average. And what happens then, right, you accept it. It becomes a norm. You become average. And so, yeah, everybody drinks. I'm going to drink too. Everybody smokes. I'm going to smoke too. Everybody goes to the party. I'm going to go to the party too, right? Like you just start getting into the same mentality that this is normal. None of that is normal. None of that. Being different is not being normal. Being different is being above or below normal. Being different means not becoming average like everybody else. And if you want to succeed in this life, that's your only ticket. Only ticket is being different. If you're going to become average, you go to a corporate world, you're going to be an average manager. When I worked at IBM, you guys have heard of IBM, right? Back in the day when I was your age, IBM was the Microsoft, the Apple of the world. International business machines, all the best computers, all the best mainframes. IBM was like the thing. When I went there and I graduated, came back to the United States, got my employment there, thought it was my dream job to work at IBM. And I was in a call center. Call center, like we accept calls. Somebody in this group was in a call center doing trucking last time. But imagine a huge call center, tons of people, and I supported a huge account, Cisco account, which is a networking company, and they had thousands of employees. Talk to all the senior management, and would troubleshoot things over the phone. And I remember one day, and I was probably 3 or 4 months into work, and I'm thinking, how do I move from here? How do I move out? How do I become a top manager? And one of the managers in the team, the guy was like 60 years old, and he was a senior call center guy. So yeah, I mean, I answered calls, but he was like one level above me, right? So I went to him, and his name was John. I said, John, So how long have you worked here? And he said, 26 years, and I love it. Holy smokes. That was the scariest thing I could ever imagine in my life, because the guy was answering calls for 26 years. There's no way he could have loved that job. There's absolutely no way. Answering calls, dealing with crazy customers, there's no way. And I was like, are you kidding me? I'm going to be here. And the only way I could move up in IBM is waiting for that guy to die. Literally. I mean, nobody moved until your manager either quits, gets fired, or dies. That's how large corporations used to work back in the day. Now, I'll tell you the story about today's modern world. Nobody waits for people to die. It's a very difficult environment. You have to be so good at what you do. Otherwise, there's going to be somebody better than you. It's a very competitive environment. In a bank environment, people will do things against you so that they can earn their status and move up in their position above you. They will literally do things against you that you would never. They will be backstabbing you left and right. And if you're not good enough, if you can't defend yourself, you're toast. And I'm not trying to say this to scare you guys, but the world has changed. If you went to work at IBM today and you see somebody doing the same thing for 26 years, you know something's really, really broken. So I'm not trying to say that doing same things for many years is a bad thing. Some people genuinely love their jobs, and that's totally fine. But there are certain jobs that you know for a fact you're not going to stick there for more than a few months just to level up and move on from there. So keep this in mind, guys. I mean, that's just how it is. Don't be average. You become average, you'll be just like that guy working there. And you know what? On average, at IBM, nobody wanted to leave that job. I was 6 months in, I was out. I was done. I was like, no way I'm gonna spend this time, because all of my coworkers, on average, they were there for 5, 6 years, and the other guys were like 15, 20 years. Why would I want to spend 5, 6 years of my life answering calls on the phone? This is not right. This is not the life I wanted to pursue. So I got the hell out of there. So this is how it's going to be for you guys too. As you grow and start maturing and you start getting offers and doing this and that, you become average. You will always be in that same trend. You will be treated the same way in all the same companies. You want the stability. Yeah, you might have some stability here and there, but you will never be in an advantageous position where you can truly do something that the company cannot live without. If you are really good at what you do and you're not average, company can literally never fire you unless you quit yourself. They can never get rid of you because they know they lose you, they're toast. That's how valuable you need to be. And how you do that is by being different, by doing something that no other person is willing to do. That's the only way of survival. If you look at the immigrants coming to the United States, why are they more successful than Americans living in this country? Because the immigrants are willing to do whatever it takes. They do not want to be average. My kids too do Science Olympiad. Science Olympiad is an annual thing that, it's just like Olympiads in Uzbekistan, where the brightest, the best students, they gather in one place and they do science, math, all kinds of different things. Every year for the past 5 years, guess who's been winning that competition? You look at the picture, you'll be laughing. It's Indians and Chinese. That's it. Indians, Chinese, Indians, Chinese, over and over and over and over again. If there's one American face in that list, it's something very extraordinary. That person had to be super, super extraordinary. Every single year, it's the same darn thing. This country is running because of the immigrants, because they're the ones trying to work hard. So know this very well. Being average is not an answer. Okay, Jablon, I'm coming back to you, and you're my next victim. So shoot away, man.
So, how we can go to USA in order to study and or work, because uh, there are some restrictions.
Okay, wait. Say that again. Are you asking if you should come to United States to study or to work? Are you trying to
Yes.
pick between the two?
Yes.
Is that is
How we can do that?
you're asking how you can come to the United States to study or work?
Yes.
You go to your airport terminal, you buy your ticket, and you fly. I mean, if all you want to do is get a job somewhere, you can get it anywhere. I mean, obviously, I'm joking, but you know, in reality, yeah. I mean, in Uzbekistan, you have to go to the embassy. You got to get the whatever the documents, but your goal should not be come here just to get a job. That will get you nothing. There's so many people coming from Uzbekistan. You know how many people I met who came? Heck, my nephew came here, and initially he came here to study, and then he decided to just wait, and he quit his studies and started working. After a year, he just wanted to get the hell out of this country. For a lot of people, they somehow think that coming to America means there's like the first thing you see from the airport is a Dollar Tree where there's like dollars on it growing, and you just come and you just pick the dollars and you put them in your pocket. That's how they think life is here. I worked my ass off here so hard. Most people aren't willing to do that. I would work 20 hours a day. This gray hair for my age is not normal. Okay, I'm 41 years old. I worked my off every bit of moment when I could to be able to get to where I'm at today. And that took so much hard work. And when I visited Uzbekistan, I visited Uzbekistan 3 times in the last year and a half. I wasn't there. I left Uzbekistan in 2002. And for the first time coming back in Uzbekistan was in 2019. I was in there for 17 years. When I came to Uzbekistan, after 17 years of working in the United States, and I just saw what people were doing, I said, all these people are just a bunch of lazy ass people. Like a lot of people that I met, they just didn't want to do anything. You know, a successful person, they'll be successful in the North Pole. It doesn't matter where you go. You think you're going to come to the United States and all of a sudden you're going to have a luxurious life? You know what immigrants end up coming to this country doing? I mean, look at all the Mexicans that do the hard work. They build houses. That's 18 hours a day of pure labor, carrying really heavy stuff to get paid $6 an hour. You know, after a month of work like that, most people leave. They just cannot bear the pain because they've never worked anywhere else like that. Nothing is easy in life. If you think your American ticket is your way of success, good luck, because there are tons of people. You know, actually, I know there are a bunch of people from Samarkand in this group. I'll tell you, in the United States, the number one immigrant from Uzbekistan is from Samarkand. And I've seen a lot of people from Samarkand. And I can tell you, yeah, they win a lot of green card lotteries and they come here. So many people, they come here and they want to get the hell back because they're not ready for this. Life here is tough. It's not easy. Nothing is easy. It doesn't matter. You go to Europe, it's the same thing, maybe even harder. So, my conclusion, I was like, I've visited so many facilities and talked to government employees. They don't do anything. I mean, their work ethic is compared to the work ethic here is nothing. And this is where you guys come in. If you want to change something, start changing it back in your country. You don't need to come here to what are you going to learn? Some good English, maybe? Yeah, maybe. That's if you end up in a good environment and you can excel, maybe. But I can tell you to try to get a very high level position in a company, be ready to put blood and work, blood and sweat into it. It is not easy. Okay. All right. Does that answer your question? There's no Dollar Tree in America. All right, I'm going to pick next one. All right, Umid Iristayev. You've been staring at the screen all the time. Say something, man.
It's a little bit noisy. Actually,
Are you in a cafe or something?
Yes, I worked in a gym.
Yeah. Oh, you work in
My
a gym,
question.
like workout gym.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
All right. Do you work out yourself?
Yes, I can show it.
Very cool. Maybe later. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's very cool. All right. So let's hear a question.
Earlier you said that it was too easy to you to study in a senior level, yes, at school in the United States. Do you think that it's because you worked all time? Do you think that it was easy to you because you work?
Okay. So the first part of the question, you said you started in your senior time. What does it mean? Can you explain that?
You earlier you said that you choose the senior level. Yes, it's
Senior level in a company?
no, at school, at
No, he means the
university when you
senior level
study.
subjects you chose the first year.
Oh,
Yes,
senior level subjects. Oh, I'm
yes.
sorry. Okay. All right.
And also you said that it was easy to you.
No. First semester was hard. Man, okay, just to give you an example, I took this class. It was called political. It was a political science 4th level class. I had to read about 40 books for that class during the semester. It was so hard. It was so freaking hard. No, I never said it was easy. I said after I took all the hard classes in the beginning, the rest of the classes was easy. Does that make sense? So for example, if you have to take, a macroeconomics class, which is relatively easy, and then you have to take some senior level, really difficult class, right? And it might be a prerequisite, so you might not be able to jump. But if you take a really hard class, it puts your mind into a very different mode. And that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm going to challenge myself, right? I'm going to challenge myself by taking a very hard class in the beginning. And when I did that, it was easier for me later because I got used to it. Reading 40 books in or whatever, I can't remember. It was so many subjects, so many different things. I didn't know anything about political science. I don't even know why I took that stupid class. I took that class because I came to class and the teacher was funny. It was like the first class. I was like, oh my God, it was so good, right? And I took that class, and after 2 weeks, I didn't realize what this class was. Because I thought journalism, political science, oh, I'm going to nail this, right? No way. It was like I had to read all American history. I had to read about presidents of America. I had to read like the Civil War and all these different movements. It was so freaking hard. But after that class, the reason why the other classes were so easy was because I didn't have to do anything like that for the other classes. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I mean, for me, okay. So this is how my brain works. If I have 2 tasks to do for today, one task is easy, and the other one is hard. I will always pick the hard one as the first one to do. Okay. And the reason why is because easy is what? Okay, well, yeah, sure. But if it's easy that takes me 3 minutes, then it doesn't matter, right? But if I know that the easy thing is physically easy, it'll take me 3 hours to do. And then the hard one, I don't even know how many hours it will take. I will start with the hard one because my mind is set on something much more difficult. I challenge myself. This is the way that I say, okay, if I do this, am I going to be able to finish it today? How long is it going to take? I just published an article yesterday, 8,500 words, and I went to sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning. And, I've been delaying on that article for a while. It is a really hard article to write because it's very technical. And I was like, okay, so I can write an easy article. It will take me 2 hours, maybe an hour, 2 hours to write it. Or I could write an article that is extremely difficult. And it took me about 8 hours, 9 hours to write yesterday. And I chose the hard one, but it was rewarding because I published it, and you know what? It's getting so much good feedback right now. So from that standpoint, that's just how my mind works. I don't like taking the easy stuff first. I take the hard stuff first. And I think if you get into that mindset, like the easy job, it will be a piece of cake. When I was, my last title in the company was a vice president of information technology for a large hotel management company. When I was working there, by my last year, I was so efficient in doing my work. I'd be done in 2 hours. The other 6 hours, I did personal projects. Because everything that I had, it was just a piece of cake. Like people would be sitting doing hours of work. If you do the hard stuff eventually becomes easy and you become super efficient at it. That's the goal. The more you do, remember the 10,000 hour rule, right? The more you do of the difficult stuff, the easier it's going to get. For another guy, it will be a nightmare. They'll be like, oh my God, I can't do this, right? And for you, it will be a piece of cake because you've done it so many times. It's so easy. All right, Bunyod Bek, you've been sitting there. I gave you like half an hour to think of for a question. I'm staring at you, man. You got to give me something.
May I?
Please do. Wait, is that Bunyod Bek who's speaking right now?
No, Islam Yılbaşı.
Oh, hold on. Bunyod Bek Bakhtiyorov, you're next, man. Come on. Make it happen. And then we're going to switch from an all-male team to a female. I'm just going to let Barno Umarjonova know. You're next. I hope you're still there. All right, Bunyod Bek, shoot it. By the way, if you feel more comfortable asking questions in another language, I know I've been trying to do everything in English. If you want to ask it in Uzbek or Russian, please feel free. Don't be ashamed of it, okay? Just I don't want you to feel pressured. If that's your issue, go for it. Come on.
So, I don't have any questions. To be honest,
You still don't have any questions?
No, I just not planned to give you questions.
Why not? All right, how about this? What do you do for, what do you like doing? What are your hobbies?
Playing football with friends,
Football.
mostly.
Okay. What else do you like doing?
Reading books, sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, that's good. What else do you like? Listening to music, playing other sports, cooking, eating?
Now, cooking when I'm helping to my mother.
Oh, you help your mom. That's good. What's your most favorite dish?
Pilav?
Osh?
Yes, osh.
Is that a very typical thing? Okay. I mean, hey, okay. So, but have you had osh in other regions? Like, are you from Tashkent?
I live in Tashkent, but I'm not from here.
Where are you from?
Surkhandarya.
Surkhandarya.
Yes.
What city?
Deno.
Oh, I haven't been there. That's one place I haven't been. But I've been to Surkhandarya.
Mm.
A friend of mine is actually from there, and I went to his wedding there. It was fun. You guys make the best kebabs. Period. Khazan kebab it's mind blowing. It's unbelievable stuff. Okay, all right. Well, hey, you know what? If you have no questions to ask, it just pop in. You could say something like this. It's not. All I want to do is just get to know you guys, make you feel comfortable a little bit. You guys feeling too pressured. All right. I think was it Islam who wanted to ask a question next. After that, I'm gonna switch to Barno. Barno, are you there, by the way?
Yes, I'm there.
Good. Okay, so you're my next victim. All right, who was next? Somebody started speaking up earlier.
It was me.
Okay, go shoot for it, man.
All lives matter or Black Lives Matter?
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yes.
Black Lives Matter. I'll tell you. You want to hear the short version or the long version?
Long version.
Okay, so All Lives Matter is a bullshit movement only for one reason, is to show white supremacy in the United States. It actually does not mean all lives matter. Now, if you were to ask me between the two, without any political affiliations, which one? I would, of course, say all lives matter. But in the United States, all lives matter means you're a Trump supporter, like 99% of the time, and you're saying this just so that you don't pick one select group of people that have to have any sort of privilege or advantage or anything like that, or give them something special. You feel like, that's because who said this, right? All lives matter. It comes from Trump supporters who, for the most part, are very, and again, I'm not generalizing. There are different people. I live in a place where all of my neighbors here are Republicans, and most of them support Trump. Some of them are quite sensible. Some of them are very smart and very engaging and very interesting to talk to. But for the most part, Trump created this new wave of people that are absolutely obnoxiously idiotic, that think that everything has to be centered around them and their needs, and they have to support their president no matter what. Everything gets converted to fake news. No matter what you say, it's fake news. And then all these stupid things that they do. I mean, look at the crisis, the national crisis. We had 70,000 new cases of COVID yesterday. They knew about this in December. And I mean, this is just one example. It's many different things, the lies and all that stuff. They want to close their eyes to all of that stuff. All of those things that happen, they just don't give a damn about. And it's a political message. So from the human standpoint, all lives matter. From the political standpoint, Black Lives Matter. Why? With the Black Lives Matter movement, the whole idea is to say that we've been abused for a long time. We need a break. You need to stop abusing us, systematically torturing us and killing us for hundreds of years, ever since this country was founded. Well, a little over 100 years. But anyway, especially during the last 100 years, it's been very evident, right? Even after slavery was abolished and all that stuff happened, it didn't matter because people still are doing these things. Police is still killing Black people. Now, let me tell you a couple of stories. Okay, you guys want to come to America. This happened in Arizona. An Uzbek guy was talking on the phone in Uzbek language in a gas station. A white guy came up and shot him in the head. He was left with, he left his wife and 3 kids were left after he was dead. And nobody could find the guy. Nobody knew that, like somebody saw it from a distance. All they knew, it was a white guy. The Uzbek guy, he didn't identify himself as a Muslim. Maybe he wasn't even a practicing Muslim. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because for that guy, he was speaking a foreign language and he just needed to not be there. White supremacy, all these hate movements, they're happening for a good reason, right? Because this country is there. It's always been here in the supreme. I'm better than you, right? Now, as an immigrant here in this country, I've always dealt with issues related to my country of origin, right? And this is normal. I got used to it. In the beginning, it was like, people would very subtly show it. Now, very educated people will never do this, but for a lot of other people, when they hear me speak, they cannot tell if I'm American or I'm from Uzbekistan. But when they see my name, they know. Now, some Uzbek guys will change their names. I refuse to do that because I'm not going to hide my identity. I'm not going to become some John Goldman or something, or whatever other name I could come up with. I'm going to identify my name as I am, because this is how I was born and this is my name and I'm proud of it. I'm not going to detach myself from my name. So you would be amazed by the type of racism that people experience in this country coming here. Let me give you an example. My brother-in-law sent resume with 2 different names. The first name was his real name. His real name is Bahadur Alimjanov. He's from Andijan. And he, same resume, literally everything, all the qualifications, everything the same. And he's an IT field, very smart guy. He sent it to a bunch of companies. Then in the second resume, he put a different name, an American name. Okay. Same contact information, everything the same. and he forwards that resume. Guess which name got all the calls and the other one never did get any calls? The Bahadur name never got any calls, and the American name got a bunch of calls. Eventually, he ended up working for the company. I called him with the other name, and when they asked him, well, what's your real name? He said, well, my real name is this, but I shorten it. So the point I'm trying to make is racism and these issues have always been in this country, and they are like, sometimes they're subtle, you don't know, right, or you can't feel it, but in reality it's there, and people experience it on so many different levels. It's very difficult today to be anyone of color. I mean, we're blessed. People from Uzbekistan are blessed in one way because we can look like anybody. I can look like a Jew. I can look like a white American. In Europe, nobody can tell that I'm from Uzbekistan, right? Like I can travel all over the world and be seamless, maybe except for specific regions like China. Obviously, I'm not Asian, very specific regions. But for the most part, like they can't tell where I'm from, right? So for the most part, Uzbeks, like we even look like Hispanics. When I came to the United States, Gulsara can probably attest to this. When I saw the first Mexican, I was ready to come up to the guy and start speaking Uzbek because I was so convinced that the guy was from Uzbekistan, except he was Mexican. So it's a strange world out there. But the reality is with the Black Matters movement, right? All that people need is not to be differentiated. That's the message. They want to be normal. They want to feel safe. They want to be normal like everybody else. Whereas all lives matter movement is literally to shut them up. That's all there is to it. So it's more about politics than the actual message underneath. All right. Barno, you're my next victim. You better be ready now.
So I don't know what to ask. I just get information from you during the lesson. And
Were you part of the group last time?
no.
Okay. Did you watch the video?
Yes, I was.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, if you don't have any questions to ask, then I'll ask you some questions if that's okay with you. Or do you have a question?
No, I don't have any question.
Okay. So where are you from?
I'm from Tashkent.
Born and raised?
Yes.
Parents are from there too?
Yeah.
All
My
right.
grandparents also.
All right. Can I see your face? I mean, I'm looking at a bunch of letters.
Okay.
Just so that you guys turn on the cameras because it's all right. There you go.
Hi.
All right. Hello. Very nice to meet you. So what are your hobbies? What do you like doing?
Oh, I like dancing, also drawing, reading books. I have so many hobbies.
That's good. It's good. So you're
Yes,
enjoying
I'm
different
interested in
things.
every thing I think.
Are you enjoying Webster University so far?
Yes, but it would be great if we will start offline lessons because I don't have yet any friends there.
So where did you learn your English? Did you just learn it from going to school or did you have a tutor?
I have a tutor and
Okay.
yeah.
Is it possible to learn good English in Uzbek schools today?
No, I don't know about other schools, but in my
Okay.
school it was very awful.
Very awful.
Yeah.
That's very unfortunate. Okay, very cool. Okay, well, I mean, what are your plans for the next week or two? What are you planning to do right now?
No, I don't have
What are
any.
your immediate plans? Like, okay, what are you gonna have for lunch today? Or did you already have lunch?
No, I don't lunch, and also I didn't have a breakfast.
What?
I'm not, yes.
Is it all because of Gulsara and her class and me afterwards?
Yes, I have. I don't have any time. I just eat also only apples.
What? Okay. You only ate apples today, but normally you eat other food.
Yes, I'm not the person who likes eat so many things. I just
Oh, like you were very picky about very specific types of foods?
no,
No?
no.
Oh, you're saying you don't indulge yourself in like all kinds of different great foods.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So you're a simple eater. You just like simple things.
No.
All kinds of things?
So
Eat any kind of fish, meats?
yeah, except the house, I can say.
Say it in Russian, say it in Uzbek, doesn't matter.
Okay. I don't know how it's the white piece
Say it
of
in
the
Uzbek. White piece of the meat. You mean fat?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, fat. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so you don't like the fatty part of it. You like the actual meat,
Yeah.
not the fat part of it. Got it.
No.
Okay. Hey, you know what? That's quite normal. And my kids do not like the fat either. I would try to feed them, and they're like, I think when we went to Turkey, we went to a kebab place. That's when they had it for the first time, actually enjoyed it. Otherwise, when we cook at home, they refuse to eat that.
Yeah,
don't
I think
like
it's common thing about us.
I
Around that.
think so. I think so. It's just the age thing. As you get older, maybe your taste buds will adjust. And especially if you come to United States, man, after United States coming back home, you'll be eating anything.
Maybe.
I remember when I came to United States, I really, really did not like American food. I could not stand it. Especially Mexican food, I could not eat it. Now, Mexican food is my favorite. I love Mexican food. I love all kinds of food now.
Yeah, it's maybe because in our country, so many things are natural organic.
No, it's not because of that. I'll tell you, it's just we're very used to very particular types of taste. So, growing up, we eat what? We eat osh, shorba, those kind of things, right? We used to it. And eating something extraordinary, like for example, Chinese really love adding spicy food with sweet food. And I remember the very first time when I had chicken that was both sweet and spicy. My brain just could not accept that. I cannot eat sweet and spicy. But then now I love it. I love Chinese food as well because it's a mix of blends. It's very, very different. And my wife sometimes makes sweet, sweet and spicy type of food. We love Indian food. I don't know if you guys ever had any Indian food, which they add all kinds of spices to it. It's quite spicy actually.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in Uzbekistan, they just cannot eat those kind of foods. And as you travel the world and try to eat different foods, your taste buds adjust to it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have 2 little brothers.
2 brothers.
Little, yeah.
Older brothers.
No, little brother.
Oh, younger brothers. Okay, cool. Do you torture them?
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Well, it was very nice to meet you. I'm glad you had a chance to speak up.
I'm so happy to meet you.
All right. Well, if you have any questions about the presentation, just you can ask the questions later. It's okay. All right.
Насим, наверное, надо уже заканчивать. Смотри, у нас как это, в фильме про мушкетеров. У нас все меньше и меньше.
Да. Давай.
Also, we have another lesson at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, I am happy to do that because it's 1:44 a.m. Denver time. So
okay. I'm interested in your article. Where are you publishing? How can we read it?
photographylive.com, but I don't know if you want to read it because it's about autofocus.
It's very peculiar.
It's very particular to photography.
Yeah. Okay. Not very interesting.
Yeah, it's a very long article. I don't know if you want to do that because it's very specific.
No. Not for the specific thing.
No.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed it.
And thanks for whoever stayed till the very, very end.
Your attention and spending your time for us.
Yeah, thank you very much for your lecture. Yeah. It was great.
And by the Boris, way, I didn't hear from you this time.
What?
I didn't have a chance to talk to you this time.
Oh no, it's okay.
All right. Well, maybe next time. All right, guys, have a good day. And if, like I said, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to shoot.
I'll put your contacts and information about you on our announcement board so they can contact you if anything.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Okay, you have a good night or good morning, whatever it is in Colorado.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
It's
Okay.
a good time to go pray and go to bed.
Goodbye.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Have
you,
a nice
guys.
day.
See you next Thursday.
All right. Bye.
Have a nice night.